What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with your other host, Project Storm. Storm, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good, man. It's a beautiful Saturday out here after the storm that came through or whatever, man.
Yeah,
It's looking
bro.
pretty good out here, so I'm just ready to kick off a hell of a show today. What about you, man?
Hey, man, doing fantastic. Another Saturday, another SML, ready to talk these games, man. What's going on, everybody? Shout out to you. Thank you so much. Hey, do us a huge favor. Tweet this out. Let everybody know that we're live. They may not know that we're live. And we're gonna have some great discussions today. We're gonna have some grown folks discussions. We was prepping up behind the scenes for y'all, getting our voice our voice boxes all warmed up and stuff. So we
man.
ready to go, man. With that said, let's get right into it. Well, you know what? Before we get into it, let's remind the people what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about what I like to call, you know me, I'm always coming out here with the hashtags. We're calling it port snuff. You know what I'm saying? We got
I like it.
we got a situation here where the state of certain ports to Stadia is being questioned. We feel rightfully so. We're going to get into that. So we're going to have that discussion. Then we're going to talk about the Stadia Savepoint that just came out late yesterday. We're going to comb over that and give our thoughts about that. We're also going to talk about our interview with Topher. If you don't know who Topher is, that is the individual, Christopher Turner. He goes by Topher, where he's the one that was responsible for the fake Mandalorian footage. All right. So definitely we had an interview with him. I think it was a great discussion, but we're going to get your thoughts on it. I'm going to talk to Storm, get his thoughts on it. We're going to flesh it out. Plus we got a lot more stuff to cover. Definitely a lot more stuff to cover. So with that said, shout out to Proto TP in the house. Wrong Yeezy said I made it. Ray 34373, the gaming cyborg. Oh, he spelled it all out today. Shout out to the homie Ray. Good to see you, Sneaky Ray. All right. Let's get right into it, y'all. Storm, what have you been playing since the last episode, brother?
Well, I dabbled into the pro games, man. It was good to see that collection of games come to the platform, MM2K.
Yep.
I also played a lot of Call of Duty, man. We had this thing, me and my friends, where it's a race to the top of the leaderboard, man. And there's a lot of trash talking going on too. And I wanted to go live so you all could finally get a glimpse of how it is and what it sounds like when I connect with these Xbox guys, man. I swear, you know. So look out for that maybe today, if the crew gets assembled or whatever. But I've been jumping into a lot of games like Halo, Master Chief Collection, just playing a lot of older games in 8K. And just having a new appreciation for these games, especially the ones that's been remastered and stuff,
Yeah.
You can see every little thing that the developer intended to throw in with these upgraded textures and all these features that they're throwing in, and like different types of lighting and stuff. So it's making me excited about one game, and that is Dead Space Remake, man. I'm looking forward to that Dead Space Remake. I think it's going to be a phenomenal looking game. I'm thinking about games like Demon Souls on PlayStation 5 and stuff. And it just is making me a better gamer, I think. I'm learning. It's one more thing that's making me appreciate gaming even more, bro. But I've also been playing Dirt 5. I've been playing. What else did I play? Oh, played some games on xCloud yesterday, man. I've been all over the damn place. The performance over there yesterday was pretty damn good. I gotta say it. It was pretty good for what it was worth yesterday. I wasn't streaming. I was just playing. Well, I was streaming the game, but I wasn't live streaming in 4K like I normally do. Yeah. But it was a cool experience, So that brings up a question that maybe we'll get into a little bit later in the show when we talk about consistency and all that stuff, man.
Absolutely. Well, your boy's been playing. So what was I playing, man? I played some Division 2. I played a little bit. For those of you that are watching, whether you're watching live or if you're watching on demand, we sent out all the emails to all of the people that registered to the Stadia, not Stadia Dosage, the PNTS network, Old Dirty Blasters Clan. So congratulations to those that got accepted. We're starting off with a group just to, so everybody's aware, we're starting off with a group of like 12. right now. Everybody else that registered doesn't mean if you didn't get an email, doesn't mean that you won't get one in the future. It's just that we wanted to start off with a smaller group so we can start building a consensus of what games or what times we're going to play and all this other stuff. So definitely be on the lookout. And if you haven't registered already, you can't do it right now. I apologize. I'll drop a link to the direct form because the site is down because we're about to go through a massive overhaul. However, let us know. We'll put the link to the Old Dirty Blasters Division 2 site up there. If you did get an email, please make sure that you're following me. We're friends on Stadia. MM2K Stadia is the tag. I'm a founder. MM2K Stadia. Follow me on Stadia. On top of that, you can't be hidden. I get it. There's weirdos out there. I get it. There's some weirdos out there you trying to hide in the brushes from. But just give me like 2 or 3 days. Unhide yourself for 2 or 3 days so I can add you to the clan, because I can't add you to the clan if you're hidden. You know what I mean? So and then last but certainly not least, and this is a message to my brother Storm too. Last but certainly not least, if you're part of a former clan, you can't be part of 2 clans. So that's something to think about. If you want to rock out with us, you cannot. You cannot. Now, the clan that you're part of, Storm, really doesn't exist anymore. They've enhanced, they've created a new clan, and it was just me and you sitting in there, really. You know what I'm saying? The only 2 active people they got a whole new shebang bang now. So really, if you notice, you can't go and get no awards or anything like that because they're done. So you're not doing yourself any favors still lingering in there. I didn't realize that either until I booted it up like last month and was like, oh, let me go get my pack for the week. Because, I know the clan be busting it out and there was nobody in there but me, you, and somebody else, a couple other people. You know what I mean?
Now, I was recently hanging out with Lincoln Ashes. They still had the tag, I believe. Now, I might have been seeing things. I don't know. He was on that Destiny 2. I don't know.
Yeah, they're still using it. But as far as Division 2 is concerned, they moved it to a different group. So there's a completely different group that was created. Gotcha. So, yeah, if you're part of a previous clan, you can't be part of the Old Dirty Blasters clan as well. So you got to think. Now, I in trying to sign people up, we looked and we said, and I looked at the clan activity and we said, I ain't active in those clans anyway. So if you're not active, if your clan is not active, or if you're not active in those clans, man, get rid of that chicken dinner and get you a winner. Come on over to the Old Dirty Blaster side, baby. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the homie Tubaj. Hey, Tubaj, I sent you an invite. I don't want to put you on the... No. I was going to send you an invite. If you're interested, because I see you be putting in that work, man, on Division 2. Let me know. Old Dirty Blasters clan, we're going to be start doing some activities. Start next week, man. We're going to plan to get together, so let me know. Storm, can you do us a huge favor as I put this out there in the different social media avenues? Can you shout out the chat, good brother?
Yes, I can. Let me pull them up 1 second. I was trying to get this link out there and share this thing out. Yeah. So I got to do that. But let me go to this chat right now. All right. We have in the house, from the bottom to the top, we have Two Bug in the house, 313. Amanor is up in here. And Stadia has no games, man. 1030 Media Group. What's going on this morning? Good morning. He says, what's going on this morning? I mean, this good morning, my friends. Got to get my glasses right, man. Ron Slusher's in the building. Alex Billy is in the house. Daz is up in here. Long time no see. Our good friend Daz, man, from the other side of the pond, man. We love you.
Yes.
Ray 3473. You know what? I never really call out his whole name, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I never call it out, but I guess I'm gonna have to start today. Good to see you, Ray. Ray just retweeted that thing out, y'all, on Twitter. I saw it. We appreciate you, Ray. I already put a like on that.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it.
Proto TP. Man, now everybody's changing their name. Now, see, here's the thing with the name change. Are we talking about that today at all?
Yeah, we do have it on the docket, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. I'll save it for them, man. Y'all got to remember now, Project Storm and M2K combined, we're 135 years old, man. So
and a half.
in a half. So you got to keep things simple around here. Nah. Babe, Wrong Geezy is in the house, man, and Stadia Dosage News is up in here along with Project Storm. We make up the SML podcast,
sir. All right. So let's do this, Storm. We might as well get right into the subject matter, man. Let's not play with the people's emotions. They're here. There's a reason why they're here. And, we ain't going to play around with them. And look, we just want to let y'all know. See, me and my brother, we got a love for each other. I don't want to make it sound like something deeper than what it is. Let me rephrase that. Me and my brother, we talk about everything and we put our heartfelt thoughts on stuff on the line, and we know we can do that freely because there is a love there. You know what I'm saying? So just off that conversation that we had before the show, I want to let y'all know, go take your heart medicine, go take your fifth of vodka. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need, because we're not sugarcoating anything today. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't gonna say you gotta hide your kids, hide your wife, but we're gonna let you know how we feel about this stuff. And it's not because we super love the platform and we don't think that any criticism is worth it, or vice versa, because we hate the platform. It's just because this is just how we feel and the things that we look to see. And we feel that we represent a segment, a rather reasonable segment of the community. You know what I'm saying? Anything that we say doesn't mean ultimate success or ultimate doom for the platform. We want to put that out there. But these are just our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And we can only do nothing but be ourselves. Okay. So with that said, let me put it up here on the screen, Storm. Hold on. Now my stream board went offline. So we're going to get it up here on the screen. You know how we do. Let me show you something. All right, y'all should see that right now. This is a tweet from the homie Original Penguin. He says, "Look at this. I am fuming. If you can't tell which is before and after, I understand you're not being angry. If you never played Ark, I understand you're not being angry. Look what we can have." Storm. So what he does is, you know what? I'm being a horrible host again. You should have let me know.
That's all good. I'm still doing things behind the scenes myself, like dropping links into the DM, you know. But let me go ahead and catch that while it's up right now.
Okay.
Yo, hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. We're going to talk about a lot of things today, and to get this thing out there, hitting that like button will help. It will go a long way,
Absolutely.
To keep this thing and put it out in the ethos of YouTube.
Absolutely. And we got the brother Stadia Rev in the house. He says, "What have you guys done now?" We've done it all. Also, too, me and Storm, we working the boards and all that other stuff. And then because we're coming up on I guess we could call it Stadia. I mean, not Stadia, but PNTS Network 4.0.
Man, I tell you what, man. Sound like you might have to get you a glass of OJ and kick your feet back, man, because we're messing up today. We're messing up, man. Are you nervous?
Milwaukee.
I gotta make sure you're not scared. Are you scared, man? Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
I think I've had too much. I'm supposed to leave the caffeine alone. I may have had too much this morning. But we're going into 4.0 of PNTS Network, right? So because we're going into 4.0 mode, we got a lot of giveaways. We got a lot of codes that we're giving out. Stay tuned for that. There'll be more news on that. And we want to keep it rolling. And you guys help keep it rolling. It's a beautiful thing. So if you want us to continue to help the platform, feel free to hit that super chat button below as well. It goes a long way to make this a better platform for you. You know how I always say that, right? Shout out to the brother Stadia Rev. He says the devs shortchange everyone on all platforms for this game. We're going to talk about it, though, bro. We're going to talk about it. So, Storm.
Yes, sir.
The thing is up there. You know the controversy behind Ark. Let's talk about it. What's going on with the platforms? Well, let me precursor with this. Let me first say, because you got to give us our flowers. I always ask for my flowers before I go. I want to smell them while I'm alive. Truth be told, we was here on Wednesday. Me and Storm, We was talking about this. Storm and I questioned the ports of Ark and Darksiders. And we was like, look, y'all, this is trash. This is not acceptable. This does not show Stadia in the best light. We know Stadia can do better. Now, the question is, who's to blame? Is it the developers? Is it Stadia? Is it a little bit of both? We're going to get into that. But we said that on Wednesday, right? And then lo and behold, the next day, the good brother Jim came out there and showed by example, as in this tweet, what was going on with Ark, right? And then, following up on that, on Thursday, this was a 3-day event. You know what I'm saying? A 3-day extreme level event, y'all. When we sat down with Topher, I'm not going to get into the Topher interview in totality, but when we sat down with Topher suggested as well, shout out to him. That's the guy behind the Mandalorian footage. Topher suggested as well that, hey, it's not uncommon for fellow developers to go and look at one platform that they're developing on and say, hey, look, our bread and butter is elsewhere. Like, we ain't gonna, like, we can't put our feet into this. We can't put everything into this one because that's going to piss off these people. So those are the whole dynamics that we got going here. We got an entire discussion behind it. I'm gonna let my brother Storm kick it off because my brother Storm got a lot of thoughts behind this, and we're gonna give it to the people the best way we know how. So Storm, what are your thoughts on all this, bro?
Oh man, there's a lot of thoughts. So I will say this right here. I understand that some people are having fun with this game. I understand that developing games is a tedious process, man. It could be like rewarding, but at the same time tedious in some cases. You know what I mean? So I understand all of these different angles, man. Yeah. However, we're talking about what we have right now in front of us right now. I'm talking about like the stock product, so to speak, right? Without any changes, without the console commands and all that stuff that we're having to get into, MM2K. Now, stop me if I get out of turn if you want to elaborate on something further down the line.
No, you got it, brother.
When it comes to Ark, man, Ark is a game, man. We've been highlighting this game, MM2K, on our shows, and we've been talking about it, and we've been saying how many millions of copies, units that it sold, and all of this stuff, and how many people play it, and what the file size and everything. We just went through everything Ark related, man, with anticipation that this was going to be another one of those games like Rainbow Six Siege, like PUBG, like Destiny 2, Division 2, so many Resident Evil Village, so many other games, Cyberpunk, man, so many games. I'm talking about so many games that are on this platform that makes you proud to be a Stadium, man.
Yep.
Ark, we learned quickly that it's not one of those games. And that's and I almost said that's okay. It's not okay to put something out there like this that people are looking forward to, but at the same time, MM2K, we don't know. I don't know the behind the scenes, and we got into a heated debate this morning. Me and MM, I'm talking about back and forth, uppercut, jab, pushing to the wall, throw him across the bar, knock over the hot dogs, the French fries, the burgers, and land in the trash can type of battle, man. That's what my brother and I got into. He's laughing because he knows it's the truth. Like we are passionate about this platform, man. Yeah. Let me just say that first. Overall, we're passionate about gaming because before Stadia, we were doing what, MM2? We were gaming, right?
Yeah, facts.
We were still gaming before Stadia, so of course, we're going to keep gaming. And we don't want to say after Stadia because, see, what we wanted is Stadia to be here because we enjoy it so much, right? So listen, with all that being said, Ark came out, and to a lot of our surprise, it just wasn't, after all the time, it doesn't seem like it was cooked enough in the oven, man. Like, we can, M2K, there's certain things that we can forgive, bro. Sometimes we can forgive 30 FPS in some cases, right? We prefer 60, however, we can forgive, but when it comes to like the jankiness that Snow Bunny was the first person I heard like just use the terminology all the time. But when it comes to the jank of these ports that's coming to Stadia, bro, what I learned from this Ark thing is that it raised a lot of eyebrows, man. It made a lot of people think. Some people will look at this as a nothing burger. It's not an issue at all. They will move on. They will enjoy the game, issues and all. Hey, kudos to you all for being able to do that. But to me, MM2K in chat, I can't. Come on, man. If we criticize and critique other services, other platforms, how would we look if we're not doing the same for the platform that we're out here talking about we love, man? We got to do this. And it's not Stadia's fault in all cases, or if any cases at all, in my opinion. This is all opinionated now. Mm-hmm. My brother just gave y'all the precursor into what the conversation is going to be about. Yep. This is my thoughts, and MM2K is going to share his. The chat's going to share theirs. This is what makes us a community, right? But MM, I'm going to pass it back to you after I say this, bro. This, I considered the worst port I have seen on the platform. Yep. That's including Serious Sam 4. That's including other games that we've talked about on our shows, man. Absolutely. It does not mean that Stadia is bad. Doesn't mean they're destined to failure. We love it. We know the growth of the platform. We highlight more so the growth of the platform, the potential of the platform, more so things like this. So keep that in mind, people. Especially any of you who might have concerns about what me and MM2K are going to discuss today. Think about all that stuff, man. All right, now, so I'm going to pass it back to you real quick.
Now, to piggyback off of that, I don't even think it's fair to even talk about any of the other bad ports in Ark in the same vein, because it's all about effort. And I think what we saw, in my opinion, courtesy of Jim, is that I don't even know how serious the effort was to get this running at a fathomable level. Now, that could be me over speaking because I wasn't there in the development thing. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the dads because we know that Ark runs, poopity scoop everywhere. But I mean, we got questions. You know what I'm saying? We got questions after what Jen showed us. Now I know, and for those that are not familiar, when you say what Jen showed us, what the hell did Jim show y'all? Like, he showed us that you can go into the console of the game that allows you to tweak certain behind the scenes settings, and you can get better visuals. You can get 60 frames per second. You can get higher than 60 frames per second and do a bunch of stuff. Now, he maxed out a lot of things that don't necessarily need to be maxed out, and you know what I mean, in order for you to get a better experience. So our question would be, like, we get to where maybe some of that stuff, the developer said, you know what, let's not max that out, or let's not even increase it, because down the line it is going to cause problems for people. I get that. But some of that stuff, I personally can't understand why it wasn't unlocked during the game, you know what I'm saying, during the release of this thing. And it begs the question, that we got to talk about. What's up with is it an effort thing? Is it that people aren't putting the effort into it? Is it that people, there's an incentive for them not to release XYZ quality on the platform? Or C, is it a thing with Stadia? We had to talk behind the scenes about, like, is it time for them to upgrade? We get to where they may not have to from a casual gamer perspective, but you did say that you did have expectancies that the hardcore gamer, the tech enthusiast, would help push this product along. It's a deterrent for us to push it along in months like this, where not only Ark, which we would expect Ark to look sloppy. We expected that. I mean, maybe not this sloppy, but we expected it to look sloppy. But for Darksiders as well to drop at 30 frames, that's the uppercut to me. See, the jab in the eye that really staggered me a little bit, Storm, was Ark. I was like, whoa, I expected it to be bad, but not like that. Hold on, corner, get me to and before I could even get to the corner, the uppercut that put me on the mat was Darksiders. Like, Darksiders is only 30. Like, so what's going on here? So we're asking the tough questions. We're going to debate it out, or we're going to talk it out, or whatever. And this, I think this is good for the community to figure this out, because we gotta let Stadia know our expectations as far as us carrying the platform along. And we gotta let the developers know, whoever's responsible, line them all up and let's get them. Let's rap to them all. Let's talk to them all. Let's figure out what's going on here, because something needs to be addressed, I feel. So, let's start off with the developers. Storm, what are your thoughts on the developers' role in this? You think it's more or less like they're like, this is the redheaded stepchild, and look, we got COVID to deal with, and we got 50 million Xboxes out there, 100 million PlayStations. Like, look, man, we're going to get this to a level that we're comfortable with, and whatever. What do you think? What do you think is the element behind this as far as the devs are concerned?
Hey, look, I always say that some people know that social media could be a gift and a curse, right? You know what I mean? It could be a place of extreme toxicity, and it could be a place of informative information and stuff like that, you know? So with that being said, I feel like I'm no longer by myself, man. And I know we have a community right now, but not all of us in the community are going to feel the same way on these matters, man.
Yeah.
And we respect everybody's thoughts. That's what makes this discussion a grown-up conversation, in our opinion, you know? Like, it's time to really talk about the things that's probably been bothering a few of us, you know, if not more. Because, see, it doesn't hit you, MM2K, until a game that you want drops.
Yeah.
Like Far Cry 5. It doesn't hit me until a game like that I want in PUBG hits the platform, and then you realize, yes, it is running. PUBG is running up to 4K 60, buttery smooth, but there were still some issues with some of these freezes and stuff. I have them highlighted on my channel, y'all, where you would go and get ready to shoot an enemy, and then that famous hiccup, that famous freeze. But then there's other games. Let me say this 100 times. The majority of the games on this platform play phenomenally well. So much so that I consider it best in class, y'all. For all of you that tune in, you know this is not a secret. But for anybody that's new, we praise this platform, but we also critique the platform as well, like we should, because that's what this is all feedback. This is all a part of feedback, man. You see it every day on Twitter, for example, how somebody will come out and say, "Hey, Google Stadia," they'll at Stadia. Stadia will respond, say, "We'll take it as feedback. This is what we're doing." This is all feedback related.
Exactly.
So when it comes to these devs, man, I don't really know. And that's the thing. I mean, because we have not developed the game on Stadia, we don't know if it's difficult to do. We know that I brought up this before the show, the Dev Summit, when they mentioned that 4K they were making it pretty much a requirement at first. And then they kind of backed up a little bit, realizing that it was tedious for some developers. And I think, if I'm getting it wrong, somebody correct me, man. Yeah. But I think that's where they were headed with that, and so they're trying to make it more easy, more convenient, and you know, that's less of a tedious process to port games to Stadia and all that. So, but then we had that other side that you talked about, man. It's an ugly four-headed dragon here, man. I know you brought up 3 points, but if you look at the fact that certain games, and I have to name them, you know. I have to name them. Serious Sam, I called out Outriders. We know. Ark was so interesting, I'll say, because I don't want to beat the game down. The game has sold millions of copies. You know what I'm saying? You can't beat down something that sells millions of copies, right? Or can you? I don't know. But so when you talk about Outriders, it made us forget about Outriders, MM2K, and nothing has been able to do that for months now. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about taking the crown for one of the worst ports on the platform. This beat Ark. I mean, this beat Outriders, in my opinion.
Outriders. Yeah.
So when it comes to the devs, sometimes, I can see if I'm a developer and I'm like, yo, Google Stadia is a new platform, it's cloud gaming. I'm not 100% on board, but I do want that. I do want to get my game out there, or I would like that money. We can use that money that they're going to give us or whatever to get the game on the platform. I don't know. Again, I don't know the behind the scenes, but I do have common sense, and I'm just using it right now to try to figure out what could be happening. I play games on Stadia. I'm not gonna stop. I was on Stadia for hours yesterday, getting it in, man. I did a stream showcasing that. But there is a problem. M2K, you brought up the tech. That's another one of those heads on the dragon, man. The tech side of things, we've been adamant about this. We've been talking about it like every month, how important the tech is. Some people don't agree that the tech is everything. It is not everything, really, but the tech is still important. Let's not lose sight of the tech, because we found yesterday during this Ark fiasco, for example, that there are a lot of players who do care about the tech. One in particular shouted out the fact that, you know, hey, he felt like that he had been shafted like because he signed up because of the 4K up to 4K 60 and all this stuff. Now, of course, we know that we're not going to get 4K 60 polished games all the time. M2K, we know this, y'all. But we don't expect a game to come to the platform in the form that Ark came. That's all I'm saying. So developers have to be held accountable because I don't think we have they said anything yet?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
I do want to shout out real quick. Dev the Gamer, I think, brings up an interesting point. He says in the chat, and look, this is, and again, we say this, and I know a lot of people might get upset, and they might say, "Yo, what are y'all doing? Y'all are just feeding the fire to the naysayers." It's not about that. We're showing you the constructive way to give the criticism. We understand that everything ain't peaches and roses, and we're not going to sit there in front like everything that is being done is perfect. But we're showing you the constructive way to give the criticism without saying Stadia is going to die tomorrow. We're going to say, I mean, we got to keep it jiggy here. If we represent a slither of the demographic, and that slither of the demographic feels the same way we do, and if things persist, that slither might say, well, you know what? Maybe I got to do what Jack says. Maybe I got to take a chill pill on this right now and maybe, check the temperature later. That might be something that Stadia wants to know, but we're not going to sit there and say, oh, well, Stadia is dead because it's not running perfect for MM2K. We're not going to. We're showing you all the cordial and responsible way to give the feedback that's more effective. Being in the Fortune 500 world, I can tell you, if you're sitting there yelling and cursing and F you, MM2K, this, that, and the other, F you and your company, how dare you? You can't do this, you shouldn't do this. I'm going to ignore you. You're a troll to me and I'm going to ignore you. They don't pay attention to you unless it's a groundswell. So for those of you that are, 2 of you here and 3 of you there that are doing it like that, you're getting ignored. Stadia's not paying, Google's not paying attention to you. But when we say this stuff like, hey, look, this is what we're seeing, this is how we feel about it, and we feel like we represent a group of people that could cause an impact to the platform, that's a more fathomable way to bring this stuff up. But I want to go to what Dev the Gamer says. And Dev the Gamer is somebody that I don't want to say true blue, I don't know what's, that's true orange Stadia. I'm trying to figure out the Stadia color. You know what I'm saying? He says, I need the people over there at Stadia to put maximum effort into making sure the tech can keep up visually and mechanically. There's no point in having titles if we can't even see what's going on. Look, take it for what it's worth. That's what that's how my brother feels. You know what I'm saying? Now we got Crow Resin in the house. Crow Resin had a good comment in here. Crow says, I agree. It may not be possible to have 4K in all games, but Stadia is charging us money to have 4K. You can't charge for something and not provide it. Interesting point. Interesting point.
And that's what the individual, who shall name nameless, unless he pops up in the chat and says, Storm is cool. But this is what they say. And so I always say, if I'm thinking about certain things, there's a chance that thousands of other people might be thinking the same thing. Millions of people might be thinking the same thing because we're all human beings. We think, right? So imagine this is your first time M2K in chat. I want y'all to imagine for a second, right? Imagine you've been waiting for Ark Survival because you've already dumped thousands of hours into it, right? And you heard this coming to Stadia, and Storm and MM2K in chat, Ray, Crow Resin, Liam, Eric, Amanor even, is telling y'all Stadia is pretty cool. It's the way to play if you're going to be looking at cloud gaming right now because of consistency and all these things they talk about in the Stadia community. And then you come over there and you say, I'm ready for Ark. I got my account. I got my Wasabi controller. I've invested in a new TV finally for this game. And then you boot that bad boy up and you see what we saw, y'all, before the tweaks, before the console command and all that stuff. I haven't even done that yet, and I'll get into why in a second before we wrap up. And I'm not going to do it. And I'll tell y'all why. Because I don't feel like I need to do all that. because the next time I feel like there's another band-aid that we're gonna have to put on the next wound. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I gonna do that, man? Shout out to everybody that is doing it, man. Y'all had fun with it. Don't break your game. Don't break your game, though. You gotta be careful. You can't go to YouTube searching for.
Can I say something? I want to cut
you. Go ahead,
man. If you would have, while we was having our brouhaha, if you would have said that, you would have shut my ass up.
Now see, I gotta hit you over the neck. You know what I'm saying? With a turkey leg, man. You know, right in the back of the vertebrae.
You would have shut my ass up. I'd have been like, "Oh, okay, Storm."
But now, see, these are things that you have to think about, man. Jim did a hell of a thing. Because, first of all, shout out to Jim one more time because, see, we got to give Jim his flowers one more time, man.
Yeah,
because
shout out to Jim, yeah.
First of all, you're a real Stadian if you do something like what Jim did.
Facts,
in my opinion.
Yes, you're right.
Bro, you're not bigger than us. You're not bigger than the platform. You are a Stadian. We're all on level playing field and all that stuff in M2K. So for him to even do that, because we were thinking it, we were talking about it behind the scenes. Oh man! And the next thing you know, here's Jim, here's Original Penguin, and whoever else they were one of the first ones to get out there and highlight this. Man, this is what this is about. We can't talk about Luna, for example. We can't talk about GeForce Now and their shortcomings. We can't talk about Shadow and its shortcomings. We can't talk about PS Now and xCloud. If we're gonna omit the things that we're having on our own platform happen, nah, man. How does that make sense? Who does that make sense to? Let me know in the chat if it makes sense to you. Do we give everything else the work, but give Stadia the pass in all cases? Nah. We call it out so we can have a better platform for more people that's signing up to this thing, man. It's already hard enough to get people to buy into what we experience every day. If you get what I'm saying, we don't have to sell Stadia, but at the same time, we want this to continue to be the best platform it could possibly be, and it will. Let me say that right now. It will. Ark does not break Stadia.
Yeah.
But enough Arks might deter some people from buying, from getting that Premier Edition, from getting that Google Chromecast with Google TV. And they might go over to that PlayStation Digital that's now in stock right now, that PS5 Digital, for $400 and get all those features like 4K 60. Well, I don't know about 1440p and variable refresh rate because I don't think the PS5 has that yet. But you know, you get that 4K 60, you get all that stuff in more games.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. Yeah, I can dig that, bro. I can, and again, and this is how I think you have the responsible conversation. You point out the flaws and say, look, it ain't over because it is. Because look, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, Storm. And again, we don't know any of this. So that's why we keep it real. With the problems that we have with this month, let's just say if next month, Riders Republic is an 1800p 60 upscale, so is Far Cry 6, and then they drop Mafia that month, and then we find out NBA 2K20, you know what I'm saying, is coming. All this is an afterthought, but what we're saying is that we don't want to see this become a trend. So what my brother, and I don't want to speak for my brother, but I believe my brother's concern, and you tell me where I'm wrong, Storm, is like when you heard Stadia say, well, we did make the 4K requirement and then we backed off on that. Was that like a signal? Was it a subliminal signal to the developers to say, oh, well, yeah, I mean, it's cool and all that we ain't got to do the 4K requirement, but hey, look, can we skim on other stuff? And is this going to be a trend from these developers that just want to run away with this bag? I get the position Stadia's in. They can't come out, in my opinion, they can't come out here and call out Ark. They just can't do it. Because then Ark is going to say, we don't like this relationship. Because Xbox, even at the level that they're at, they would never do it. PlayStation would never do it. I get we're in a unique situation where they're not getting they're not getting the port shaft like we are, but still they would never do it because that would hinder the relationship too much. So I get where the position that Stadia is at, but still we hope this doesn't become a trend, and we're hoping that people are tapping their fingers, looking at the whiteboard, figuring out a way to try to incentivize or strategize to in working with their partners so they don't lean in this fashion. Because I'm with Storm on that one. So he could have shut my ass up earlier. If we keep saying, "Oh look, here goes a cheap fix, not like it's cool for Ark. We get that Ark runs like poopity scoop everywhere. But if this is what we got to do for every game, then is that going to tell developers, oh, we ain't gotta come up with a fathomable port here. Let's just put it on there because they'll be happy because they're gonna eat anything. They're gonna eat the pig snout and the pig butt and everything, and they'll put hot sauce and they'll fix it up, and we can still run away with this bag. And I think that's what my brother's trying to say. Is that did I expand on that properly? Storm?
Yeah, minus the pig snouts and all that stuff, man. But I tell you what, man. MM2K, look, here's the deal, man. Hey, no one can come in here and act like they don't have issues or whatever on their favorite platforms and services and all that stuff, man. I just want to go back and reiterate that because it's across the board, man. I mean, PlayStation's dealing with something right now. Xbox is always dealing with something. There's every year that they're dealing with something. You know, just keep it real now. We're keeping it real here. Stadia got like a major blow. All they did was launch, and it received major blows from the industry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So Amazon, same thing. So that's gonna happen. But what we're talking about right now here is a paid service, man. We're paying in some cases. Well, we're paying for the games, right? We know the service is free to sign up. Some people forget about that, but I want to remind y'all, it's free to sign up and start playing Stadia right now. But if you want to play, and if you want to play Ark, you could do that too, because it's included with Stadia Pro. But if you're out here buying certain games or whatever, like I bought Dirt 5, and I reached out to Codemasters and I asked them if a fix was in sight. And I did it in a nice, cordial way, like we're talking about today, MM2K. Yep. And they responded to me. But guess what? That response meant a lot at the time. But when I get out there and I play Dirt 5 right now at 4K on Stadia, I still get those stutters and freezes. I forget about that response, man. Outriders, I wanted to buy it. You heard me say it 100 times. I want to play the game on Stadia. I waited, man. I got it on Series X, but I don't want to get too deep into it because I want to play it on Stadia. Right? Right? So, with that being said, man, we have to hold them accountable. We have to put this out there. At the end of the day, man, everybody should be doing the same thing, no matter where you're playing these games at. You got to hold them accountable. Somebody has to be held accountable, or else what are we doing here?
Yep. So, shout out to Lavon Kaysen.
Shout out. I was just on his channel yesterday. Y'all need to subscribe.
Shout out to my bro Mac City Entertainment. Talking about Stadia's dog. And, hey, Mac.
Man, that's the line. That's the line, though. Hey, shout out, Mac.
Look, bro. No, shout out to Mac. Mac, you want me to go back and talk about RDNA 3 for 19 hours? I be seeing
Mac and Z chat and all that, man. You know what I mean? So I know what Mac is about.
Shout out to my bro Mac. No, he's a big Xbox. Shout out to my bro. Much love. Yeah, man. No, that's what it's about. It's about I think being a responsible Stadian. To me, being a responsible Stadian is this. This is just part of it. This is not exactly this, but being a responsible Stadian is saying, look, I want this platform to grow. I want it to enhance and I want it to improve. And I want it to improve for the benefit of the community first and foremost. I mean, I love Google. Google ain't never done nothing to me. I hope they feel the same way about me. Maybe not. But they've never done anything to me. Every time I've interacted with them, they've all been cordial. I love the staff, the social media managers, and all that stuff, right? But I'm here first and foremost for the people. So because I want all of my passion and stuff for this platform is for the sake of the people. So I want Stadia to become a better platform for the people. If it doesn't become a great platform for Google, and let's just say years or decades down the line, they look elsewhere, Google's going to be fine. It's the people that'll be uprooted. So That's why I always got the people first and foremost. And the people deserve better results. We get that this platform is young. We get that we're in the middle of COVID. These are all the things that I've talked about and I've argued against the naysayers. We get that they're in the middle of COVID. We get the difficulties that are here. and all that other stuff. And we get that Google cannot simply just put a big bag on the table and say, okay, now divert more attention, because developers are still looking at the fact, well, if I divert my resources that are limited now, because we're just starting to get people back in these seats, if I divert my resources limited, regardless of what bag you give me right now, I got potential DLC and upgrades and stuff that I'm ignoring there. I can't do that. There's 50 million, there's 100 million people there. I can't do that. Just take it and squeeze it. We get there's that dynamic. But but this is where we need the people that are making the big bucks over there to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? There just got to be accountability. And what we need is we need somebody to figure out a way and put it into place sooner rather than later, a way to encourage less of this. Because having a situation where not only y'all had to see it. Y'all knew Ark was going to be bad, and it's Ark. Okay, we get that. And then maybe you do got to go into the console and fix things for it and get it together. Okay, fine. Let that be a one-off. And I see the comments in the chat. I get it that there are those of us that play Darksiders, and it's fine for us, for some of us. But I'm telling you that frame rate is so... It's not like a flat 30 to me. And some of y'all can deal with that. But when I played it, my eyes was hurting. Because I'm a 60 frames per second gamer. That's what you sold me on, right? You told me look, we got the 60 frames per second, 60 frames per second. That's cool. So this game don't have 60 frames per second. Ark is just a mess. Those are your two biggest bangers that are releasing in Pro right now. And this is releasing in a period to where now you got a lot of people that are turning back and are looking back at Stadia, like Hong Yo, Ho Young, who looked back at the platform and gave it what I thought was a fair down the middle review, a fair down the middle assessment. You got other people that are coming out now saying stuff about the platform. My brother Tim Dog, he said, look, Stadia got a leg up when it comes to the performance. Ain't no doubt about it. You got people in integral areas that are saying stuff about this platform, and what we don't want them to do is say, okay, well, let me check this out. And what they see is Ark and Darksiders at 30 frames per second. They're going to say, where's the 60? Where is this? You know what I'm saying? So these are just the things that we have to be cognizant of. Not only Stadia, but us as a community who wants more players on here. Remember, that's a big argument we make, Storm. We want a bigger player base. You don't get a bigger player base with this. I hate to tell y'all. Now, me and my brother Mac City, we go back and forth, but Mac will let you know in the chat. Ain't nobody coming to Stadia if this is what we have to showcase. So let this, like my brother Storm said, let this be one-off situations rather than the norm. We don't want to say, well, it's okay, it's all right, because this is not what's going to bring the people to the seats. We want the people to come to the seats.
Hey,
you know
it might be us, because our brother Revolution, Stadia Rev, the Notorious, REV, says, along with others, that the frame rate is fine. See, so that's going to be okay. But see, the other side of that, Rev, is that the frame rate is not fine. See, that's the problem. You know, if the general consensus was the frame rate is Gucci, then we wouldn't be having this conversation, but it's not.
Fact.
So MM2K, I dropped you a DM if you can observe, check that out.
Yes,
just,
sir.
Skim through it, see if you want to share it, or if not, if you want to bring it up or something, because I think that's important. If you look at who this is and what they do and stuff like that, and the buzz that we're putting out right now needs to be out there. I mean, I didn't really join the noise about Outriders. I did an initial video. I highlighted Outriders on Xbox Series X and Stadia. Of course, the Series X version blew the Stadia poured out of the water, but it wasn't because Stadia can't run games well. It's because the Series X, for some reason, got the best port. They got the best version of the game across all platforms that I tried it on. That's PC with the RTX 3080, with and without ray tracing and all those features, right? I tried it on Stadia. Right? I think I might have tried it on GeForce Now. I can't remember, but I know I played it in 3 different places, man. And and it was worse on Stadia. So things like that is what we're saying. Is just it just it can't be a pattern. It
Consistent
can't be a trend.
thing, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we're hoping this isn't so I'm gonna put it up here on the screen. Hold on. What the hell
Because
was that?
this is what the buzz does, man. And some people are
Yeah.
like, well, we don't need Stadia getting another black eye. But at the end of the day, we're paying. Listen, this is what
Yes.
I want to remind everybody on. We can love Stadia, but we're paying Stadia for a service, and they understand that. That's why they're trying. I'm sure Stadia is trying their best to give us what we want, man. I mean, I feel like this is what they're doing. We can see it reflected from the community manager on up, you know. So I don't doubt that, and I know that we're gonna celebrate this fall. You know, from now until the fall, I'm sure they're gonna be dropping some games on our heads that we're gonna be absolutely adoring. But we still have to make room for these conversations because it could get ugly, and we don't need any more ugly than we've already received.
Yeah, let's make sure that, again, are we saying that this destroys state? No, we're not going to get into that silly like the canoe people talk. We're not going to do that. But we're seeing something I don't think we've seen yet in 1 month. We've seen one horrible port, really the worst port, and then the other game that could have like been a palate cleanser to it, which was a great run in Darksiders across the board, not just for some, across the board. That's what I'm saying. I get for some, they're like, oh, this is fine. But no, what I'm talking about is across the board. You could have a great running Darksiders 2 across the board that could have been a palate cleanser to Ark. And for those that have Ark and want to do the console thing like myself, I had a lot of fun doing it. I ain't gonna front. That's what me and my brother Storm got into before the show went live. I was like, yo, I did it. I had a lot of fun. And Storm was like, I'm not trying to hear that trash.
I'm not trying to hear it.
I'm not trying to hear it.
I don't want to hear all that right now. And then we got back and forth. We broke things down. And at the end of the day, we both respected what we were saying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how we always do. That's why I said, one day we're going to record our conversations. And
that's got to be. That's got to be. We got to release that at midnight.
Yeah, that's the midnight stuff. That's the BT after dark stuff, bro. they ain't ready for that one. No, we were seriously talking. I think what we're going to do, Storm, we'll get more into that because we can talk to some other people about that too. Is we're going to have some uncut conversations. We're going to put it out there for the members. That'd be some great content for the members as well. Because you're seeing a real live prep of MM2K and Project Storm, man.
Got a name for it. The midnight release.
Midnight. Oh, woo! Hey, nobody ever snatched that. The midnight release.
Don't steal it. Don't steal our stuff. On it. We got a trademark on it right now. The midnight release, man.
Exactly. But yeah, man. I get that it's fine for some people, but when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at two things. One, you got a bad port already, which it's Ark, and we understand that. So you can kind of like somewhat brush that off, right? To a degree, in my opinion. This is my opinion. But then there's always something to counteract that and say, okay, this was still a good game for the majority of people, and that you had an opportunity with Darksiders 2. I think you could have just waited with Darksiders 2 until they figured out how to get it on 60 frames per second.
Man, hey, can you make a poll, please? I need to know. Because some people are saying that they had trouble playing Ark, and then Rev, my brother, who I trust, that's my dog. Check us out on Revolutionary Storm every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern on my channel, Stadia Revolutions channel. Can we get a poll up here about people's thoughts on Ark, man? Are they okay with it, MM2K? Can we get that going? And I'll highlight some more of this chat because we got some more people up in here, man. And I'll tell you who I see.
So how should I phrase this question? How do you think?
Man, you're the master of it. I don't know it, man. I just throw the ideas up there and hide, man.
Do you? Okay, well, I'm gonna do it like this. Are you okay? Now I'm gonna do two separate polls.
All right.
Are you okay with the performance of Darksiders 2? And again, this is anonymous, so you may be watching. You be like, I ain't getting into this because I don't want to get land-based. But let's ask the community. Because this is not about just MM2K. This is a community show. Let's see what the community got to say. So I put out there, are you okay with the performance of Darksiders 2? So answer that poll. All right, there we go.
So, all right, my vote's already in. All right, and then so what I'm gonna do is highlight this chat real quick because we got Crow Resin. I don't know if we missed some people, man. Soap God is in the building. We have, I know Liam was here. Patrick, I don't know if I got Patrick earlier. G Millie is in the house, y'all. Romello Thomas. We have let's see, Real Levon. I already shouted him out. I was on his channel yesterday. He subscribed to my channel. It's all love out here. Max City Entertainment. Y'all know he's in the house, man. These are the individuals that we talk about. That MM2K keeps talking about, man. Mm-hmm. Where he's reminding us that we don't know toxicity and all that stuff, man.
Yeah,
those guys have fun over there on the Xbox and PlayStation side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Slush is in the building. Shake Capo, what's going on, homie? Charles Oren is in the building as well. We also have, I think, if I'm not missing, Jay Smith is in the place. Stadia Revolution, Chariot Man Gaming, KB, and I think that's about it.
Okay.
But I like the votes already. Keep the votes coming.
He's a keep
the votes coming. These are very important.
Coming. Shout out to the bro Dev the Gamer. He's out here spitting facts today, man. Ark has just made everything for Stadia interesting. If anything else, is it the Stadia platform? The devs, the world may never know. Laugh out loud. I can dig you,
Dynasty, I see you.
Hey, Collins.
Yeah,
and Collins is out
Collins
there too?
Dynasty.
Okay.
Yeah, he's out there.
Okay, let me see. Collins, let me see what Collins had to say. Hold on.
Nah, he was just saying, hey.
Oh, you just say, hey, shout out to Collins in the house. Yeah, man. And Rev, I get what people say. I get where people are like, look, I'm not saying don't try it. Try it. And if you like it, then that's cool.
It's cool.
But I think that we represent I'm not saying that a 30 frames per second mode is trash. It's cool for some people. But you gotta have it for you in a month like this. I don't think releasing Darksiders at 30 frames per second is a good way to go. Not like this. And in any other month, it wouldn't matter. But where you got Ark, the way that it is, I think if you were going to drop Darksiders, it needed to be 60. It needed to be a game that would invoke that feeling that you have for everybody. And it doesn't. People going to look at that and be like, yo, I can't get jiggy with this. And I know I can't get jiggy with it. It gave me a headache. Like, I shout out to my members. I deeply apologize. That was the shortest version of my first look ever. I literally got a headache in the middle of playing that. You know what I'm saying? And I had to stop. I can't get jiggy with that. So again, it's not that 30 frames per second modes are trash. It's just that when you have a situation like you have this month, I think your offering has to be more widespread. And only having 30 frames per second isn't widespread enough, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. We're gonna give it to the people. We're gonna let the people speak today. But I appreciate your comment, Red, but I see where you're coming from. All right. So let me see here. Let's talk about it before we move on, though, Storm.
Red said Ark is horrible.
Yeah, Ark is horrible. Yeah.
Oh man, you can't tell what Red was thinking.
Shout out to Chariot Man. Cast it out to the barren sea.
To the barren sea.
Chariot Man Gaming says Darksiders 2 is great, but it's 30 frames per second only. You know, that's not acceptable. That's where I'm at with it. You know, the pillars.
It's not even that MM2K. Even if it was 30 without the stutters, if it was 30 with everything that Jim and others highlighted, you know what I mean? With those trees in the back and the draw distance and all that stuff, man, it might be more acceptable. Because let's get into this real quick before we move on. We know that certain games, somebody kept reminding us that Ark is an open world survival game, bro. It is like there's probably hundreds of thousands of assets easily in one given area, man. Like that we have to focus on. There's water, there's reflections, there's all kinds of different things in MM2K. There's dinosaurs of different types. There's fire, there's base building and all kinds of stuff that you could do in these games, man.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, MM2K, does Ark deserve a pass because it's doing all those things? That's my question to you before we let it go. Does it deserve a pass because it's doing all that? Because of the type of game it is?
I mean, no, it doesn't deserve a pass. I think Ark is I'm gonna say this. Ark is a special situation. The people that are really gonna get into Ark are not getting into Ark because of the performance or because it's the prettiest looking game. They get into Ark. If you want performance in a prettier version of Ark, your best bet is to get it on a high-end PC. However, there's people that love Ark, but the makers of Ark realize there's people that are going to love this game that may get stutters and stuff like that just because of the things that you can do. That's fine. And even as a developer, I would even have a post and say, look, to increase the fidelity to performance in areas, you can try these things in our console. We don't recommend it though. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't recommend it. Because the game is just crappy everywhere. So I don't know about giving it a pass, but you do got to take into consideration that this is really a game that, if we're being honest and we're putting performance and fidelity out there, it don't belong nowhere else but PC. I hate to tell you that. It really.
Yeah, I agree.
If those are a factor, it don't belong nowhere else but PC. But other people could enjoy this, so I'm not mad about that. I'm just where the homie. Let me see who put that comment out there. Dang, come on, Mouse, stop acting up here.
And then when you're thinking about that, man, Stadia is based on they're based on PCs, man.
Yeah.
The data center and all that stuff, man. So that's why we have these discussions, y'all, and that's why they take so long. Because every time we talk about one thing, something else pops to mind.
Now, I'm with my bro Cloudbusters here. Now, Cloudbuster says it's a pro game to get 4K. You need to sub to pro, but the game isn't very strange. I can dig that. So these are just the things from the community that we gotta talk about. All right, so I'm gonna cut this off short because we got about 23. But go ahead and vote real quick. I'll give it 2 more minutes, and then I'm gonna put the poll about Ark. But I think I know the results of Ark. But right now, the way it stands, y'all, I said, are you okay with the performance of Darksiders 2? 43% says yes, but 57% say no. That's important for Stadia to know. Because we got all types of people that come here. People that care about 60 frames, people that don't care about 60 frames. So,
and that's why I always shout them out, man. I always see. It seems like I don't get the love that I deserve. Me and the tech enthusiast over here, we don't get the love we deserve. We just get the door slammed in our face. Nobody cares about 4K and 8K 60 Storm. Get the hell out of here. Don't come back. You know what I mean? But I'm over here like, yeah, I could definitely understand where y'all coming from, man. 30 FPS lovers and 1080p gamers and 720 peasant. You know, that's what Brad Sam. Shout out to Brad Sams for dropping that 1080 peasant line, man. Mm-hmm. But like, that's not those numbers. As I'm looking at these numbers, man, that does tell a story here. It tells a great story here for Darksiders. I can't wait to see Ark though.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So with the all that being said, console commands do fill me in. Oh, okay. So he's asking about the how they trying to put. See, I get it. And look, I'm not going to front. I put the console command. Look, y'all, we got 32 people watching, and we got 24 votes. Can we get 8 more votes? Let's get 8 more votes. Let us know before we close this poll out, and hit that like button too, please. We got 19 likes. Let's hit that like button. Let's help the algorithm out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I try not to beg, but you know what I'm saying. You know, I ain't too proud to ask. You know what I mean? But if y'all can hit the like button, vote in this poll, please. Let us know what you're thinking. And also, too, if you want to support the platform, feel free to hit the super chat, even with a super sticker. That's cool. It goes a long way for us to do giveaways, all that great stuff. And I feel that we put out quality content. We have discussions like this. We have reasonable, fathomable discussions about criticisms of Stadia without saying Stadia's dead. It's going to die tomorrow. The pacemaker is blown. No, we don't say stuff like that here unless there's fathomable evidence behind that, right? So with that said, I think it's time to move on, Storm. I think we belligerent that point. But I will say, I want to ask you before we move on, how bad is this for the platform? Like, what type of negative effect do you think it's just going to have? Is it temporary, long term? What are your thoughts on that before we move on?
It's gonna, like Outriders, it'll blow over eventually, but there will be that one day when somebody will bring up a bad port, and then Ark is gonna come back to mind. That's just how it is when it comes to gaming, man. Gamers are passionate individuals, man. We care about what we do. You know, some are casual, some are hardcore, some don't really know what they are, but they game. You know, but so it's probably gonna come back up down the road. But like you said, there's always a way to make us forget about that. And games like Far Cry 6, Riders Republic, and other games that are coming up this year, that'll help out a lot, man. It'll help out a lot. We'll forget all about it once we start looking at the 60 FPS. Hopefully, that's going to come with some of these games that's launching later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So with that said, let's move it on. I'm gonna end it. I'm in the poll right now. The poll is. It'll pop up in a little bit. I hate when it does that. You in the poll. You want to look at the numbers, and you got to wait several minutes before it pops up in the chat. But yeah, okay, there it goes. So, are you okay with the performance of Darksiders 2? No, 58%. 41% say yes. So I think, and I think we got a good slice of.
You know what I see here?
What's
58% says no. That's what I see because I'm on that side of the fence.
Yeah.
See, it's about what side of the fence you're on. You know, and in this case right here, it seems like the people that, you know, there's a lot more people that care about these or, you know, those things than less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Rev, I get what you're saying. Bad platform ports happen on every platform. But when it comes to Stadia, it's a pillar of this platform, again, particularly for tech enthusiasts, is at 60 frames per second. So so again, shout out to Cloudbusters. He made a great point. In order for it's a Stadia Pro game, so you got to pay for Stadia Pro, which gives you 4K, but you can't get 4K in the Stadia Pro game. Like, I don't get that. That's what I was kind of saying about Ground. I was a little confused about Ground, where I get where the developer couldn't get 4K at launch. Where was my Stadia people at helping them get over that cross line? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm paying. There's a high likelihood that the reason why I have Stadia Pro is solely for the 4K. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm starting to get a rapid succession of games that don't have 4K in them. You know what I mean? Like, that might turn me off from Stadia Pro, which, trust me, Stadia don't want that. They don't want, especially if they got these new incentives coming where they're giving people X amount of money via Stadia Pro activity. That doesn't help the cause. If people are like, well, damn, I'm not getting my 4K, so, you know, on these Stadia Pro games, let me bounce. You know what I mean? So just some stuff to think about. All right. With that said, let's move it on, brother. Let's talk about the Stadia Savepoint that was put out there this month. I think it was a very great article.
Right.
It reads as follows. It's time for another update for our Stadia Savepoint series, recapping the new games, features, and updates on Stadia. In August, Stadia Pro subscribers played through newly added games like Paw Patrol, Mighty Pups, Save Adventure Bay. It came from Space and Adar Brains, Epistory, Typing Chronicles, Killer Queen Black, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Complete Edition, and Grime. Claiming these titles within the growing pro library of more than 20 games that make them easy to play instantly for as long as you're a pro subscriber. In addition, last month included free play days every single weekend. That's awesome. With pro subscribers getting the chance to play free games including Rainbow Six Siege, The Elder Scrolls Online, and Far Cry 5. So Storm,
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on that initial summary of what happened in August? What are your thoughts?
Overall, man, from month to month, I have to commend Stadia for a job well done, bringing
Yep.
more games of diversity and variety to the platform. And man, and those are the things that I spoke of earlier when I talk about all the great things that happens on this platform. They far outweigh the whatever negatives that we might face from time to time. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that it because although we may not play a handful of those games consistently MM2K, there are some people that are only going to play those games,
Mm-hmm.
and they can do that on Stadia. So I think that it's always good to see the monthly recap happen and stuff like that. We've been focusing on it on the Revolutionary Storm for sure. We've been focusing on it on the SML podcast for sure. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. My son was just saying they're going to the movies or whatever. So yeah, man, like I think it's always good to see that them drop different games like that MM2K and put that nice little bow on it at the end of every month
Mm-hmm.
and the beginning of the month.
Yep. I think that was I appreciate everything that they put out here. I think August was a good month. I remember saying earlier. Now, it was it the biggest month for an MM2K? Probably not, but there was Valkyria Chronicles for the complete edition. That right there, and I haven't even touched that yet, y'all. That's gonna be my. You know what? That's gonna be my next. My first look is Valkyria Chronicles 4. I love the Valkyria Chronicles series. And opposite of that, even though there may have not been a whole lot for me, I get to where they wanted to do a focus on maybe the family friendly. They brought the family friendly catalog or category in there, and maybe some of the AA games. I get to where August was a big month for that. Do you think that was a mistake at all? Do you think they should have like balanced it out a little bit more, or because I'm gonna say this, I think Darksiders was probably, I don't know if they rushed it, but the Darksiders that we got now, I'm pretty sure was the version that was probably ready for a while. Maybe they were working on a 60 frames per second version of it, or maybe they already just came to the decision that we'll just put it out there later, if ever. Do you think there should have been more AAA action in here? Like, should they put a Darksiders in here this month, or what? What are your thoughts? Or do you think the month was balanced out properly?
Nope. I think it was balanced. Sometimes I would be okay if we don't get not a single AAA game MM2K, because we have to care about the indies. We need to support them as well. We have to support anything in between indie and AAA. So I take it as it comes, bro. And I really think that they could do no wrong in adding whatever games they can add. Now, we've just spent an hour talking about Ark. Ark is an old ass game, as some would say, right? Old ass game. Listen to these stadiums talking about Ark, man. It's old as hell. They're not talking about a new game, So you got to think about how the dynamic looks overall. But at the end of the day, man, these games are important on all platforms. I will say that much, because they help bolster the library and they help bolster the gaming industry. So I'm always going to be in support of any game that drops on this platform, no matter how, AAA or not. Now, with that being said, you know how Stadia does things, man. They've shown us that if we go by last year, they will drop some games that people might consider. Remember, they had the good stuff, and they, announced Pac-Man and all that stuff. And what else?
Humankind and
Humankind and around that time. So
what do you call it? Immortals? Yeah,
Immortals. That's right. That's right. So they made those announcements. We kind of thought they were not the hottest, but I was okay with the announcements.
Oh, yeah,
I gave it a fairly high score and everything, because that variety that I'm talking about means a whole lot. But some people might look at it and say, hey, man, I need AAA and that's all I want. And, so it's always interesting to talk about this kind of stuff. And with that being said, that's all I have on it.
Yeah, like we talked over an hour about Ark and the state of the ports, because we really hammered that point in, because when Phil Harrison came out and talked about who are the pillars in the early years for this platform, he said the casuals that feel like they have been disenfranchised from games, and us, tech enthusiasts, me and my brother Storm.
Right.
He never said those that want AAA games all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So for those of us that do appreciate AAA games and love the way AAA games play on this platform, it's great that you're here. But if that's your tell all be all, you got to think. You might have to double think that. You know what I'm saying? So there are going to be situations to where we may not see AAA games on the platform as robustly as we may like. And that was, again, never their calling card. Hold on. Kitty, I'm live.
Shout out to Kitty.
I need you to calm down, Kitty. Thank you.
I barely can hear.
All right. So with that said,
barely hear.
I think she's crying the way that she is because my wife was coming up the steps. Storm, let's move on. Let's talk about the young souls and humankind. Because my wife is coming up for some reason, even though I'm live on air. Can you talk about it a little bit? Give people your thoughts on that. Let me address.
I will. So young souls. Let's go with that one first because I know I sounded crazy when I said that I actually that was one of the ones that I thought about it and I knew I didn't want to play it without the 4K, so I refunded it. I could have held on to it, but I don't want to make it a trend of holding on to games that don't have features that I would like. So I don't want to continue that trend, But Young Souls, from what I did see, from what I played, I can understand all the praise that it's getting right now. I can understand how other people want to play it on their platforms right now. So that's just a well-made game, man. And see, that's the key right there, y'all. Because Young Souls is so well done that I didn't have any gripes other than a resolution, 4K, nitpicky, right? But that's what tech enthusiasts do. They nitpick at stuff. They care about FPS. They care about the visual fidelity. They want it all, But Young Souls, man, Game Informer wrote a great piece that Rev and I highlighted on the Revolutionary Store in the last episode or whatever. Check that out. They did a hell of a write-up on that game, man. Hell of a review. And it deserved everything that they put in that review. So Humankind, I haven't really gotten too deep into it. When I got overwhelmed by the trial that dropped a few months ago or whatever. So it wasn't for me day one, but I've been seeing people having a hell of an experience on that game as well, man. That's another game that comes with Stadia. It's a Civ-like game from what people are saying. Has some things in it that I think it's almost an endless game or something like that. I read, man, like there's just crazy hours that you could put into Humankind. Mm-hmm. So having a game like that, MM2K chat, y'all, is always going to be a good thing. I will jump into a game like that. That's a game that could come to pro one day. For all of you people like me who sit back and wait for games like Waybreak that we didn't talk a lot of, we don't want to rob these games of their glory. That's another one that wasn't hitting what I thought was 60 FPS. I don't believe it hit 60 as well. But who cares about that when they can get out there and do kick flips and have fun and all that stuff, So, yeah, man. Humankind on this platform, Young Souls, is very necessary. Bring on more games. Bring on that diversity that I was talking about earlier. And I'm going to keep giving Stadia my $9.99.
Shout out to the bro K Boom Boo. Look, I ain't never seen... you know what? He might have elevated beyond the bro Aminor. I love Aminor. Aminor is super comical troll. I might give KB the crash test dummy troll moniker. I ain't never seen somebody that come up in here so much that spills so much bibble babble that I can't back it up. But I love you, KB. You've been doing it since day one. Love you, brother. It comes by every show to get his whooping. He says Stadia was supposed to be here to democratize AAA games. How? Where? Who said that? Who said that? Did they show Stadia features with AAA games? Yeah, because that'll make it pop out more. And they're marketing the show devs that may or may not be interested in developing for the platform what they could do. You show it with the AAA games. But where did they show me the article where they made a suggestion of that at all? And shout out to KB and Butu, Stadia Dosages, Crash Test Dummy Award winner.
To speak on that, man, I don't know, man. People fool me sometimes with some of these stuff, and I have to go and research it because I want to know
You know what
if he
I'm
got it
saying?
wrong or not. Him and PK, you know,
Oh
like I
my
want to
God, I
know,
can't
man. That's
breathe.
why I do so much research and I look
Oh
into this
man.
stuff. Now he might be able to clarify where he's coming from with that one right there. I could see how this platform will be looked at as a platform that would be heavily focusing on AAA games, especially after the closure of SG&E. But it doesn't seem like that's where he was coming from in the beginning. So KB, clarify, man. Let us know what was going on with that thought. And everybody else, feel free to share, man. Speak up, share your thoughts and all that. That's again, that's why we have these discussions.
And I'm not saying that they don't need AAA games. Yeah, they need
Right?
AAA
Nah,
games and they
yeah, I
need to
know what
get
you're
them.
saying.
And Stadia knows that as well. That's why the Pro, and shout out to my interview with Topher. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But that's why they structured the Stadia Pro incentives going forward the way that they did to attract those big AAA games because they realize that it is important for them to get as many as they can day and date. But they've never said out of the bat, you know what, this is the platform for the AAA gamer. They told you, they said the tech enthusiast and the gamer who feels like they're disenfranchised from gaming. They didn't specifically say AAA. Nowhere did they say that. But shout out to KB and Butu. He tries every time, man. You got to give him an A for effort. All right. So with that said, let me see what else we got. Okay, we got other games up here that I don't know if I'm going to get tagged for. So let me stop. Let's go back to the Stadia Savepoint. Direct touch on Android. We talked about that. How big of a game changer do you think that is, Storm? The direct touch on Android.
What I understand is not in a whole lot of places, if anywhere else in the cloud that I could see.
Yep.
So I think that is big for the platform that they continue to focus on things like that people are not thinking about. And I have to mention Stream Connect for any new listeners. Like Stream Connect, these are features that you want to check out. Crowd choice, crowd play, bringing these things. And of course, Twitch has a couple of those things, or similar features in embedded or whatever that they're going to be using. But Stadia, we were on Stadia first. Stadia hit the market before Luna and all that stuff. So we were talking about these first, right? And they seem to be pioneering a lot of these features that, I'm sure people want to steal. I'm sure they have some in the oven right now that has not been released. And this is an example of that. Like the touch controls. People are praising the touch controls, man. They're asking for them in other games. I haven't tried it. I don't do the mobile gaming and stuff like that. I, mainly playing in my home 99% of the time. You know what? I only test Stadia on my phone, but I need to get more into it. I signed up for 5G, so I might be doing a lot more of that, y'all. I need to be able to see what you all experience, so I can kind of relate to the people out there.
So to be fair, let's give KB his chance, his second shot. Let's see, is he going to run into the wall again? He says the broad promise of Stadia was AAA games everywhere to instantly load a console quality game and play it on your phone, laptop. Where did they lie? Can you not load a AAA game? They didn't say all. They said AAA games everywhere, meaning you can take a AAA game that's available on the platform and you can play it everywhere. They didn't say all AAA games. And they made it and then to get beyond the marketing speak, when they were asked specifically, they told you what their specific target demo, or and the industry term is product placement, was. So it's not how you interpreted it. And I get there's a bunch of you, the Canoe group, that interpreted things a certain way. And now y'all still bent up out of shape and y'all showing up everywhere. Stadia, y'all can't get Stadia out y'all mouths. But y'all welcome to come here. Y'all can't get Stadia out your mouths because you misconstrued what was going on. Didn't do the research. It's okay. But it's over. It's over now. It's okay.
Uh-oh.
We know what it is. So it's not what you thought it was. You misconstrued this stuff, like right here. If this is your evidence, this is more than enough evidence that you misconstrued what's going on. They didn't say every AAA game everywhere. They said you could get AAA games everywhere. And that's not common right now. You can't really play no AAA game on any screen the way that you can play it on Stadia. Stadia is the best way, as long as they have that AAA game, it's the best way to play it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You get, hey, look, if the game is a 9 on your TV, it's going to be a 9 on your CCU. It's going to be a 9 on your tablet. It's going to be a 9 on your phone. That's what that means. This proves right here that a lot of you just misconstrued what's going on and didn't do your research behind it, which I always hear this argument, Storm. Consumers don't do research. You're supposed to do it on new tech. I never got this inclination. I never got it. And I do this stuff. So again, you got to look in the mirror and say, okay, well, maybe did I overshoot my thought process on this? Okay, I did. It's not for me. I'm rolling. Opposed to everywhere you go, still arguing about the chicken not tasting like steak. That's what y'all doing. But, you know, you're welcome to do it. We love y'all. Shout out to KB and Ubuntu, Crash Test Dummy Award winner of Stadia Dosage News. All right, Storm, I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you off. Let's round this topic out before we get to Topher. There was changing your name on Stadia, Stadia Pro lineup, actual new content for the month, which I do want to highlight. Let's see here. Let's see, where's the section? It says the August content launches on Stadia. This is brand new stuff coming to the platform. Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, shout out to Rav, The Siege of Paris, DreamWorks Dragons, Dawn of New Riders, Foreclosed, the game,
Giganosaurus, man.
Giganosaurus, the game, Grime, Humankind, Ice Age, Scratch, Nutty Adventure, Madden, NFL 22, Marvel Avengers, Black Panther, War for Wakanda. What's that?
Now, I was wondering. I was making sure it was Giganosaurus. You know what I mean? 'Cause I know on the dinosaur train they had a Giganosaurus or something like that. Man, I want to make sure.
Paw Patrol, the movie Adventure City Calls, and Young Souls. What did you think about that new content lineup, Storm?
Again, variety, versatility. Madden 22 is in there. Marvel Avengers, Black Panther, DLC is in there. You know what I mean? Paw Patrol. The kids love it. Young Souls, masterpiece in some people's eyes already. Grime, masterpiece. Foreclosed. Another one of those party type games, man. If I'm not mistaken, because I could be thinking about the wrong game when I'm thinking about Foreclosed. Let me see. You got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the same thing, DLC. So you got a nice spread. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what you want to see as gamers. Now, yes, MM2K, we want to see more big time AAA bangers hit the platform. We've already moved on from the first party games that people think are killing us at night in our sleep. Some of us have already, a majority, I think, have already moved on from that. We just want to play some of the best AAA games that make up the most of the industry. Without AAA games, the gaming industry would be like belly up right now, you know, in my opinion. AAA games just they bring too much money, man. They bring too many players. They're going free to play, a lot of them now, man. Like, I don't know, MM2K. That's a discussion for another day, I guess. But hey, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think it was a good month. I think it was a good month.
Yeah, it was good overall.
It was good overall. I mean, you know, what threw it over the top again is having that NFL 22 dropping day and date. Grime was definitely a good game. You know, I would have liked to see 4K in that as well. Having Humankind, I think that created some buzz for the platform. Created a lot of buzz for the platform. And I do think it's a good thing to have this family friendly category really be lifted up. You gotta have look. We talked about when we did a couple of shows talking about how many games did Stadia have in 21 months, and I think, you know, that's when they crossed the 200 plateau of 21 or of 200 games. They did it in 21 months. And so we compared that to what PlayStation did, and we compared it to what Xbox did. They blew past Xbox. Xbox only had 144, but PlayStation had 336. You know what got PlayStation to the 336? It wasn't AAA games. Remember, even if y'all have the lineage, they were hyping up Octodad. You know what I'm saying? And games like that. It was these AA games and these indie games. PlayStation got so many of them that the number of games that they had accessible on the platform just really shot past Xbox in those last months, going up to 21 months. So yeah, I mean, they're all important, but yeah, AAA games, I do agree, really make your platform stand out. I think Stadia is aware of that as well, hence why they have the Stadia Pro incentive reformed the way that they do.
Let me ask you something. With that being said, you're talking about the number of games and the type of games, the versatility and all that stuff. I see a lot of people, GeForce Now fans, are very excited, MM2K. Very excited. They have over 1,000 games, man.
Yep.
Does that mean that GeForce Now takes the crown, bro? I know that's a tough question. No, that's a tough question to ask.
No. And here's why. Again, this is why we just went over an hour in regards to about Ark. I don't care what you got if I can't play it. I don't care what you got if I can't play it, or if it's not fathomable to me. And here's my problem with GeForce Now. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but again, I showed you that I can criticize across the board. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, some people are going to get upset because I'm talking about GFN. You don't get a paycheck from them. Cut it out. I don't get a paycheck from Stadia, and I criticize Stadia. Cut it out. As long as you're coming from a factual place and you're pivoting from there, it is what it is. That being said, my problem with GFN is it's too spotty. It's not consistent enough. I've seen some people on Twitter recently that are known to be big GeForce Now people that are complaining about that consistency, and that's good. They complain about the consistency, and this is my problem with GeForce Now. All right, so we talked about Ark Storm. But Ark was a program. But let's just say if I wasn't a pro member and I bought Ark, right, and I played it and I'm like, I don't like it. Guess what I get to do? I get to return it.
Yes, you do.
Because Stadia has its own store, its own individual closed-in platform. As long as I don't go past certain perimeters over 2 weeks or 2 hours, I can say this is trash. I'm taking this game back. Now, GeForce Now is just a conduit. They don't have their own store. They link you to where you can go buy games now, I think, in the UI, but they have no own store. So they have no control over these purchases. So let's just say if I get Ark on Steam, if I go to CD, this is what's even worse, because a lot of people, they say, look, GFN is better because you get so many more deals on PC games. You go to CD Keys, Green Man Game, and all this stuff, and go get so many deals on GFN. So I listen to that. I go to CD Keys, I buy an Ark or Green Man Gaming or whoever else is out there, and I activate that code and I don't like that game. Guess what happens? I'm stuck like Chuck. I can't go back to CD Keys and say, oh, I didn't like this game. I want a refund. I can't go back to. They don't have them type of policies. What Stadia does. I remember, what was it? I was buying a game for my son, and I bought the wrong game. I didn't even activate the code yet. But I was talking to Green Man Gaming, and they were like, we can't refund you on this. And I'm like, but I just bought the game. And whatever. And they said, no, we can't. That's like, you can't refund you. You saw the code. It's too bad, so sad. Sorry, sucker. Same thing like that happened. CD Keys. Now, I'm going to tell you what CD Keys did. CD Keys, when I bought the game, even though I didn't activate the code, it took them 5 days. 5 days later, they came back and they said, yes, Mr. MM2K, we'll give you your money back because you didn't activate this code. They had to go check. That's before I even play the game. See, so therefore with GFN, if something may run good on my PC, but it don't run so well on GFN, I'm stuck. And GFN ain't involved. I can't go to GFN and say, GFN, this didn't run well on your platform. They're going to say, well, tough luck. Sorry. That's on you. So I
got you on that.
There's too much inconsistency there for me to sit there and say, even though they got 1,000 games, I think GFN is better. For me personally, when I go to purchase those, number one, you got to pay an upfront fee. Now I'm grandfathered into the plan, but for the people that aren't, you got to pay that upfront fee, which is $10, and you got to hope and pray, wish upon a star, that GFN game works well on the platform. Because if not, and you bought it off of CD Keys, Green Man Game, and hell, maybe even Steam, I don't know what Steam's policy is.
Yeah, they have a pretty decent policy. I took
Okay.
advantage of it a couple times
Okay.
on some refunds. They don't ask questions either if they meet those parameters that you were talking about.
Then you better only buy it on Steam. You better only buy it on Steam. That's all I'm going to say. And then with the Steam games, was it Steam? We've had several situations where the Steam version of the game on GFN just disappeared out of the catalog.
That's
and
true.
People couldn't play it. I can't deal with that level of inconsistency. So those are my thoughts on it.
All right, I appreciate it, man. I just thought about it when we were talking about all the games, and I'm like, man, I thought about those because I they had me wondering, man. I'm like, damn, GeForce Now getting a lot of games, man. They got a lot of games, 1,000 versus 200. I just wanted you to throw that out there, man, in case somebody was wanted to know like I did.
Yeah, and I get it because a lot of people, to them it's like, and they don't mind that. If you don't mind that, then if you like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Go, that's your thing for you. But I don't think to put the barometer solely on number of games, like we've already been there. Put the barometer on solely number of games without performance. We've already seen where that takes you with the whole Xbox. Oh, they're
that
going
is
to the
a
Xbox.
fact.
The Xbox Series blades.
I do want to talk about that when you're done, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Touch on that. The Xbox Series blades. Oh no! Look! It's over now because they got the games, but they ain't got the performance. Go ahead, Storm. What's your thoughts?
That's a hell of a point, and I'm gonna say this because just yesterday I was browsing through my catalog of games available to me, accessible to me on xCloud, courtesy of Xbox, right? Yeah. And some of those games like Banjo-Kazooie and all that stuff, MM2K, some of those games are not going to be for me. Madden, whatever. I'm just throwing out different games. Like, they're games that people might want to play, and there's a lot of games that people won't care about. Mm-hmm. So more games don't necessarily mean that you have it in the bag, Yes. Because I skipped past over 100 games, man, that I didn't want to play. But you know what I did play? Gears Tactics, because I never played it before. I didn't have to download it. It was no barrier or whatever to try it. That's the beauty of the cloud, by the way. So I jumped on the game. I had a lot of fun. I put a couple hours into it. Didn't want to stop playing it. It was good. Strategy-based game that I didn't think I would like. Ended up liking it a whole lot. Halo 5 I got into. The online multiplayer. No need to download stuff like that, right? But I skipped over a lot of games that I didn't care about, man.
Yes.
Yep.
And for gamers like myself, which I think there's a good number of us, especially for the simple fact that when people say Game Pass is a hell of a deal, there's a lot of, I think it's like the vocal minority when it comes to this. Because, again, I'm not saying that Game Pass doesn't present a hell of a deal, but it's not a value to everybody. I'm going to even argue it's not a value to most gamers. Because not even most Xbox owners have Game Pass. Game Pass is like maybe 30 million now. Maybe 30 million. We got over 60, 70 million Xboxes in the wild alone. Let alone the PCs that it's available on. Let alone the cloud gamers that can access it. We're talking about maybe 30 million. That it's not a value to everybody. Everybody don't want to just play a buffet of games. They know what they like. Look, the age of the average gamer, Storm, is in their 30s. We got that beat by a long shot. Like Storm said, the combination of us is 135 years and a half. You know what I'm saying? But
not that long, man. We don't want people thinking that we're about to get Social Security and stuff, man.
I take it.
Shout out to the people that do, though. I tell you
exactly. But the age of the average gamer is in their 30s. By the time, trust me, for those of you that are not in your 30s, I'm going to tell you right now, by the time you hit 30, you know what you like. You ain't, for the most part, you don't feel like you got to play every single game out there like you did in your 20s. When you're in your 30s, you know what you like, you know what the type of games that you want, and you focus for the most part on those games. Unless you're like a game enthusiast, like how Storm was. In my 30s, I was still doing game reviews and stuff like that. So I played a lot of games, particularly in the Xbox 360 era and all that other stuff. That's here nor there. The average gamer only buys 2 games a year. Mm-hmm. And at most,
you did break this down. You did back that with facts, man.
They only have 7, maybe 9 games attached to their to the platform that they play on. So I'm closer to that, as far as my personal taste. That's why someone like me prefers an Ubisoft Plus over Game Pass because I know I like Ubisoft games. I don't need 1,000 games. I don't need to be introduced to new experiences. I mean, that's cool and all, and that's cool for the people that fit that need. I want to know that I have the games that I like accessible to me, and there's a cheaper way that I can play them. And Ubisoft Plus does that for me. So, again, just throwing volume out there isn't the answer for everybody. It's not the answer for the average gamer, if that answers your question, Storm.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you put that, man, because I agree.
Yep. All right, with that said, hold on, let me do this because I had the wrong link in the article and in my notes. What the hell? What is going on?
Let me see.
Yeah, it's putting some crazy stuff. Oh, duh, that's why. Jesus.
Man, who else 22 said hit that like button? If you haven't already, that will go a long way, y'all, and getting this word out there, because
Absolutely.
we're not done yet.
Absolutely. All right. So now I got it up here. I see what I was doing. Okay. Let me show you something. All right. This is a tweet, Storm, that I sent out. I said, wow, what a hell of a sit down with Topher, creator of the self-made Mandalorian footage. A lot of questions answered. Approve of the individual's methodology or not. It was a great and thoughtful discussion. Thank you all for your support. So here's the interview right here. I can play it. Damn, it's our stuff. I'm gonna mute it while I'm playing it though. But this was the interview that we sat down and did with Topher for a special session of SSC podcast. First time ever there were back-to-back episodes. So the story is the guy created a Mandalorian game. He did it pretty much all himself using different tools and assets and things like that. It looked very impressive. It looked so impressive that many people thought that it could possibly be a real game. A lot of publications and stuff like that. It got caught attention first and foremost on Colin Moriarty's show. And Colin Moriarty has experience with game development, I believe. So he thought it was possibly a real game. But what happened was it ended up not being one, and the Stadia community was somewhat in an uproar. Half of us were, because at the end it shows the Stadia UI, and we thought, with this being a fake game, doesn't he understand how this would crush the Stadia community? So according to him, Storm, he says he didn't intend for this to be such a hot button issue for the fellow Stadia gamers. He didn't even know there was a Stadia community. He was enlightened to hear about that. And Topher, if you're listening, I know I promised you to get you a list of Stadia content creators, and I forgot, brother. Well, I didn't forget. I got consumed. I'm gonna get that to you. Don't forget to get you introduced to everybody and us. And he says is looking to work with students and colleagues to make a game as a result of this. Storm, what were your thoughts on the interview?
The interview was pretty good, man. I went into it. First of all, I had already simmered down a little bit. I was never like pissed off or anything like that at what he did, because we've seen it before. MM2K, a lot of us took things with a grain of salt from the beginning. I threw out there my percentage being 70-30 because it looked believable to me. It looked like early footage of a game. So I think that is a compliment to Topher right now. That it did look so good. The character model itself, man, Mando or whatever, looked pretty damn detailed. The cape with the physics and all that stuff. But yeah, man, I just wanted to hear his thoughts on why he chose Stadia and what knowledge he had about the platform and how he felt about all of us in the community or whatever that did have questions or whatever surrounding this whole thing. But I do understand where he was trying to go, and from listening to that interview, first of all, shout out to you for setting that up. Shout out to Topher for deciding to take part and man up and face whatever heat was going to come his way. And I could tell you, I was surprised by the fact that it wasn't as much heat, and that speaks volumes about the community, man.
Yes.
Let's just get the community some flowers too. The fact that everybody was listening, you know what I mean? In that chat, we were talking about other things during times of during the interview, but we were listening, we were paying attention, and it wasn't like an all-out pitchfork fest or anything like that, right? We listened to what he had to say, we listened to what you had to say. You did a great job asking questions. He did a great job answering them. Everything I needed to hear was basically tackled, man. And I can tell you, when that poll went up, And when that poll went up, I was one of the first ones to vote. Yes, I would like to see Topher get a chance to drop a game. If you have that level of talent, why not? He did
Yeah.
it because he wanted his talent to be
Yeah.
seen,
To be showcased.
recognized,
Yeah. Yep.
appreciated. Like
Yep.
how many of us wouldn't go to that type of measure? It's not killing anybody. It's not taking anybody's kids from them. You know what I mean? Worst things happen. So my thing is, I don't have to defend what he said or what he did.
Yeah.
He did a good job of that himself. Like he put it out there. It's like, look, here's the possibility of what could be created. Bong. It could also come to a platform like Stadia. Bang. If I have done anything to offend you, pretty much I'm sorry for that. For anybody that may have been hurt, angered, and all that stuff, devastated by this. What else could he do? So I thought it was a hell of an interview overall. It's one that people need to check out. If you have not checked it out, do so. 39 likes is nothing to sneeze at, man. I mean,
Yep.
it could have been a lot of dislikes, MM2K. So that goes, man, kudos to the Stadia community for being who we are.
Yep, absolutely. Storm, can you do me a huge favor, brother? Can you
What's
get
that?
just highlight some of the thoughts in the chat? Chat, let us know what you think about it. Storm is going to highlight it. I got to step away just for 2 minutes.
All right, do your thing. Let's see.
All right.
Because I'm going to vote right here, as you all can see. Would you support Topher if you wanted to crowdfund a game for Stadia? All right. I just hit the vote button again. Now, so let me see. Rev said 132 games and Ubisoft Plus. Sounds like something I would like to be a part of, Rev. That's why I am. It's artists who joined me on Destiny 2 yesterday when I was live streaming, man. We just went through the strike like it was nothing, bro. I appreciate you for coming through. Good to see you too, by the way. Kessel Runner is in the house, man. What up, everyone? Lurking while working. You got to do it. You got to do whatever you can. Liam McGee says interview about fake Mandalorian was amazing. Hopefully he releases the 4K version like he said he would. I would check it out. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely check it out. I encourage you all to, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I mean, hey, a lot of people have already. Ray, the gaming cyborg, said 48 and loving gaming. LOL. Ray, I'm in that club, bro. I'm in that club, man. You got me by a couple years, but I'm in that club. And I don't think we'll stop, Ray. I'm telling you right now, if nothing happens like arthritis or something major, I'm going to be gaming as long as I can. That's it. It's all to it. And I can't wait to see what technology we have at our disposal in the next 15 to 20 years. Can y'all imagine that? Just 15, 20 short years. What will we be? What kind of gaming would we be doing by then, man? That's crazy. Cloudbusters, research the game before, let me see, buying from key sites. You definitely need to do that. That's very important. Bob is in the house, man. Said key feature that GFN has and Stadia doesn't for me is ability to continue playing games. Game saves both on desktop and GeForce Now. All right. Says through Steam Cloud saves, while in Stadia I can only export my saves. Valuable information that a lot of people don't think about, man. Thanks for sharing that. We have let's see, KB said even Steam Deck will will have, I think, 30,000 playable games at launch. We are talking about Google, who spend $15 billion to have Google on iPhone. What DF? Hey, interesting points. Interesting, hey, something to think about. But I tell you right now, I don't think anybody over here are worried about all that stuff, man, because we know that Steam is not a new platform. Stadia is. I just want to throw that out there because people keep forgetting that they hear Google and then they think that Google was in the market for like 30 years already. They thought, have the years that Nintendo has in this thing, man. Google is new. They're still learning. You know what I mean? They are learning. They are executing as best they can from what we can see here because of the games that we got on the platform. And there's a lot of things to be positive about. I tell you that much. Let's go on up. We have Amanor says his research comes from Young Yeah. And we can tell, Amanor, it's very apparent, bro. But it's good to see you in the chat as always, man. And we know you love Stadia. Let me shout out Windstar, man. Kenry V is in the building. MM2K says there's still a lot of recent AAA on the platform. Says just because there's not a game you want to play on the platform doesn't mean there's no AAA games. So I don't even know why anybody would even think that, huh?
Who said that? Windstar? I want to.
Yeah, Windstar said that, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I got you. There you go. Shout out to Kenry V in the house.
Let me say this, man. Do not, for the life of y'all, do not sleep on Riders Republic, man. Do not sleep on this game. Give it a chance. Give it a chance, y'all. You might find it is one of the. I've seen a lot of videos in M2K of people praising this game just like I did. All it took was a taste, bro. So when we have Riders Republic and Far Cry 6 and these games coming up and others I keep forgetting about, man, I'm excited, bro. I'm very excited.
I gotta address something. KB done ran into the wall. He done got ran over by a Mack truck, and now he's gonna fall off the London Bridge.
I just read the 30,000 games part now. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
No, I want to this part where he says, when you're new, you spend cash. Ask Microsoft. So let me break this down to you, brother, because again, we gonna get you
I'll be
out.
Right back. Go ahead. I'm gonna run
ahead, brother.
To the boys' room.
I got you. We got to break away from the ignorance. All right. So when Microsoft came in the game, they spent a total of $10 billion over 2 generations. So did PlayStation. You know where I got them? Now the 360 was a dope console. But the only reason why Microsoft was doing that, see, Microsoft and PlayStation were in a battle for the living room. It had nothing to do with, hey, we felt like this was a way to get a great gaming console, a profitable gaming console out there. That's not why they spent the $10 billion, or they lost. I'm sorry, they didn't spend $10 billion. They lost $10 billion. Not spent and gained. They lost $10 billion over 2 generations. They did that again because they were in a battle for the living room. The Xbox console at first was just a way for them to get into the living room. They didn't care if the Xbox console was profitable or not. It was just a conduit to them getting in the living room and stopping PlayStation, who they thought was threatening that cause. So we're not talking about them spending a lot of money when they were new because they believed in having a profitable game console or game platform like how people are doing now. You have Walmart, Verizon, EA, and all these other places getting into this cloud gaming thing like Stadia and everybody else, not because they're in a fight for the living room to bolster up another product, but because they want this to be profitable. So you pointing out what Microsoft did when they were new is irrelevant to what's going on in 2021. When Microsoft came in, they had no expectation of this platform being profitable. They just wanted to have something that would stop PlayStation from taking over the living room. Their goal was to just have to do that and therefore take away attention from Sony. They were willing to do anything for that, even put out a console with a 60% failure rate and say we're gonna earmark $1 billion or $2 billion to fix it. That cannot happen now. That cannot happen now. Why? Because Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer, with the obedience of Phil Spencer, have shown that even when you don't have great games in comparison to your competitors, and even when you do have a service where at first it's laughed at, you got to be lean and mean. And what helped Microsoft make $10 billion in a year where Sony knocked it out of the box but only made $6 billion more and $16 billion was the fact that they made acquisitions. They did backroom deals for support mechanisms like Minecraft, getting the Havoc engine, stuff like that. That's what put them over. What really helps them as well is having Fortnite. Having Fortnite on the platform gives them a lot of money. And that just happens to be something that Stadia will not have the luxury to, because, or at least in these beginning years, because we know Tim Sweeney's stance on Google. He has a divided interest when it comes to GFN, because Tencent, who has a large investment chunk within Epic, also is working with GFN to come up with the Chinese equivalent of GFN. They're working with NVIDIA, rather, to come up with the Chinese equivalent of GFN. So all that stuff is interlinked. So Stadia has to find other ways to be lean and mean. They can't do what Xbox did in 2002 and 2005. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. That's not even fathomable. Nobody does that anymore. Hence why PlayStation is putting their games on PC. They would have never done that back in the day. Why? Because it was just, we don't care how much money we lose. We're in this battle against Microsoft for the living room, and we're going to force people to have to buy a PlayStation in order to play our games, because that's what's going to increase our fight for the living room. So I went on that tangent to say this, KB. You simply put, I'm going to let you know live on air, we're going to do a live air intervention. This platform just ain't for you, bro. It never was, and it may not never will be. Get your change up, get your coin up, go get you a PlayStation, go get you an Xbox. Now, I get you may like the community, you may like to be in the event, you like to be in the chat, but at the end of the day, all these arguments that you're making are so irrelevant. They're not connected to fact, they're not connected to reality, they're not connected to lineage. How old are you, bro? How old are you? Are you 18? I hope you're not over the age of 18, because this sounds like an 18-year-old. Nothing against my 18-year-olds, but it sounds like these 18-year-old arguments. The platform just ain't for you, bro. So I love you, brother. I love you like a kid I don't pay child support for. I love you. But I had to do this intervention live on air because that's crazy talk to me. You can't bring up what Xbox did in 2001, 2005, losing $10 billion. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody. Pick up blood, sweat, and pixels and stop reading until your eyeballs fall out. But shout out to my brother KB and Ubuntu. Stadia Dosage News. Crash test dummy of the day.
Man, I tell you what,
Go ahead.
I tell you what, man, I will say this right here. People do tend to think that is all about spending as much money as possible these days. That does help. We can't be foolish. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It does help. 7.5 billion. Mm-hmm. But there's the ZeniMax. That's all I'll say. Now, it helps, but at the same time, they want to get that money back, because nobody just throws out free money, you know what I'm saying, without an expectation that they're going to get something in return. So I want to say this. I tell you one thing. Stadia is not the only Google's not the only company that seems to want to get away from exclusive games. You know, I could bring up some examples and stuff, y'all. I could bring up some examples now, but it seems like a lot of companies are just trying to get away from spending that much capex and stuff, MM2K, that much money, like building new data centers and stuff, for example. They don't really want to throw all that money out there, but they know that they need to wisely invest it, if you get what I'm saying. Now, when it comes to these games, though, third party, it kind of like, you got to imagine this pie, man. You know, I keep trying to tell people, you got the exclusive slice, because that's all it is in comparison to the third party sales, man. Like, I don't understand why the focus is so heavy on spending money and making these acquisitions. I know the importance, y'all. I know the importance, but I'm talking about this day and age is kind of where MM2K was kind of going with this, right? I would want to reshift my focus to, I want my players coming over here playing the games that everybody's playing. The majority of the world is on. Yeah. I don't know. Like, that's why I had this exclusive. I have these thoughts all the time, and sometimes it leads me into arguments that's never ending, right? But exclusivity, you brought up the examples about PlayStation at one point, 7 years ago, whatever the article came out saying at that time when we thought they were killing it. We thought every exclusive they dropped was a banger, bro. Right? Yep. Here the whole time, 4 out of 10 was making money. so to speak,
Exactly.
right? Was really bringing in
Exactly.
that cash. So this is my logic, y'all. Like somebody, I don't know if anybody will understand me, but look, in 2021, do I continue to focus on throwing billions out there that I might not that might not bring me the money that I'm looking for in return? Like, do I want to gamble like that, or do I want to go where it's proven? These third party games, in my opinion, are proven titles, man. I don't, and that's not an excuse for Stadia because we're on air. See, the thing about us doing these podcasts and 2K and chat, man, we're on air saying this stuff months ago, last year.
Facts.
You could go find all that good stuff. If you want to sit back and have a great day, go back and listen to some of this stuff me and MM2K and others were talking about here at the PNTS network. It's No Bunny Gaming. Rev, you know what I mean? Check out some of the stuff that we're talking about. It might blow your mind. So we keep hearing it though, MM, and we're far into 2021 now, but we still keep hearing that Stadia is doomed, so to speak, almost, because they don't have these first-party studios and they ain't spending this money that they need to spend when we don't know how much they're spending, though. So the part that gets me is we don't know what the hell Google's doing. Everybody seems to be crying. Google, please tell us what you're doing, please, because we want to know. You know why? Because we had to write articles, Google, and we want to just slander your name, and we want to make you look even worse than you are now. We want you on the ground gasping for air. You're not doing that right now because we don't know how much money you're putting out or how much you're bringing in. So, y'all, we got to leave that stuff for the business, man. We got to leave that for Stadia and Google. We can't be worrying about all that. You know what I'm saying?
I just put up on the screen, Storm, Shuhei Yoshida. You just brought it up. Only 4 out of 10 PlayStation games make money.
At a time when we thought they were killing it, every exclusive was bringing in a profit. You get what I'm saying? At the time when PlayStation was, even then they were killing it, MM. I don't know, man.
It's like, and Microsoft changed the game. The references say, well, what Microsoft did is they changed the game. They completely eradicated who KB was bringing up. They got rid of the Steve Ballmer people. They brought in the Satya Nadella people, and then they worked to be clean and mean. You know what I'm saying? So it was all about them they've already had the comfortability of them already being an established platform because of what was done before. So they already have the deal set up. So the Fortnites and the third-party games are already coming there, fine and dandy. But what they did is they said, look, how can we still make money? We're probably not going to make as much money right now this generation as PlayStation. That's fine. We'll use this as a launch generation. But how can we still make a lot of money and make more money than we've ever done before? And this is say what you want about Xbox One, and that was the generation that I left Xbox alone. But they've made more money during the Xbox One generation than Xbox has ever made before. They were forced to be a standalone, profiting platform, and they did it. And they did it through things that KB wasn't bringing up. They weren't throwing away nothing. So, with that being said. It's just about knowing the history, knowing the lineage, and knowing what you're talking about. And realize it and looking in the mirror and say, look, is this platform for me or not? And it may not be for you. Jack Buser even told him, Storm, if it's not for you, within the first few years, you'll come back later and it'll be for you.
That's it. That's it. Check it out. It'll be here. Now, I got a question for you one more time because we might have some we got to consider the new viewers every show, right?
Yep.
MM2K, in your opinion, is Stadia doomed because it has no first-party games?
Absolutely not.
And why is that important or not important, MM? Real quick.
That's important because GFN isn't doomed. It's about cloud gaming right now is about giving you access to the games that you want to play. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people like to play exclusives, and
yes,
Sony knows that, and that's why they're putting exclusives elsewhere. But it's about first and foremost, getting you the games that you want to play. Stadia polled everybody last year. What is it that you want most from us? You want exclusives, this, that, or the other? The multi-plats we want to play was always number one by a wide margin. Always. So, yeah, I get there's a bunch of us, there's sectors of us, maybe a few dozen of us, Storm, that sit here on Twitter or wherever, like Clive said, and we say, oh, you ain't got exclusives. You're doomed. The people say otherwise. That's why we also here poll the people. You know what I mean? We're going to end this poll right here, too. We're going to poll the people. So. All right. I don't know. Do you want to just do like 10 minutes worth of phone calls, Storm, and then
Yeah, we can.
We can close out. Okay. So
Yes,
I
sir.
close that poll. Would you support Topher if he wanted to crowdfund a game for Stadia? See, and the proof is in the pudding. 72% of you said yes out of 22 votes. 27% of you said no. So the whole moniker that, oh no, the community's too mad at Topher, forget about him. That's not right. That may be your sentiment, but that's not everybody's sentiment. All right, so let's do this. I want to bring up a fun subject. While we was talking about PlayStation, it was a perfect segue. Let's talk about this real quick because I think it does relate to a lot of the rhetoric that we hear in the Stadia community that falls far from what we're seeing in PlayStation or Xbox. So we often hear Storm. And here, hold on, let me do this. The phone lines are open. The phone lines are open. Let me put that out here. Phone lines are open. 724-739-3612. Call in. All right. So we hear a lot that Stadia lied, Storm, which I every time I challenge people to say where did they lie, they can never find out where Stadia actually lied. The closest thing they come to is shout out to Naomi Trizarector. He asked Phil Harrison about 4K 60, and Phil gave him the technical side of it, and it was interpreted as in the end user side of it. But Stadia never said that you're going to get native 4K, which people are complaining about. That was the makers of Doom that said that, and that's their game. Stadia doesn't develop the game. So if the game doesn't have native, and I think we can guess why the game didn't have native 4K. Bethesda bought by Microsoft. Excuse me. Oh, we got a phone call already. Hello, you are live with Project Storm MM2K. Who is it that we're talking to? Our good friend.
Hello, it's the world famous Planet Eating Squid.
Oh, Mr. Squid! What's going on, brother? What's going on, man?
Yeah, I just had a few moments today. Just wanted to pop in, say hello to you guys and everyone on the show.
Hey,
and
man.
Just appreciate all the work that you guys do.
Excellent. Hey, Squid, I need you when we conclude this phone call. You gotta put your stream out there. I was watching your stream the other night about and I thought, oh, you're in Arizona?
That's right.
Yeah.
I
Born
didn't,
and raised native.
man. Please don't have me drug out and shot like old Yeller, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that. He was talking about what was going on over in AZ, man. I be in there lurking, bro, because I guess because of the time difference, you stream late at night, and by then,
Oh yeah.
I'm supposed to be in bed, quote unquote, because I got to get up 2 a.m. and take my wife to work. So I be in the corner, like really real low. This is the first time anybody knowing this. I be watching Squid streams in the middle of the night, like hunkered, so my wife don't see me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yo, I was in there yesterday doing the same thing until I realized he was on guilt, and we'll talk about that before he hangs up, though.
Definitely, but Squid, man, definitely. So you're gonna have to put your link to everything out there. But what's going on, brother? What you want to talk about today?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, I've been liking these games. Like, what I've been thinking is like, I don't know. Stadia, they got a weird knack of doing things. Which I think starting to figure it out. It's like they kind of pull the strings of the nostalgia and be like, all right, let me see what this does here, and then see what the interest is, and then they kind of like they like to evaluate what they do. And I think that's what some people need to realize. Like, I mean, it's a tech company, right? But it's a tech company doing games. So it's a little bit different as far as, how Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, how they all kind of approach things.
Yes, I agree. Yep.
I just think it's, once you kind of put that lens on, you're like, okay, it's a whole different realm of things.
Absolutely.
And I'll give you this, and this, and I can play this because it's funny. All my friends that talk about mobile gaming and emulation, what are they bringing up? They're bringing up Amazon Luna. Want to know why? Because it's Amazon. It's the name moniker attached to it. So it's not so much people capping to hate from the mass opinion. It's just more so they just don't like Google. in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they don't want to admit that. So
Yep.
once people realize that, oh, okay, maybe take that off. It's a sister company. It's not really Google. It's subsidiary.
Yep.
It's sort of Google, but not quite. Then it's like, okay, you can take a step back and be like, okay, this company's doing good. The last 2 years, I mean, the amount of money and things that they've helped me save, time I've saved from downloading. It's funny because I can't even play games with my brother because he's like, yo, let's play this. And then it's like, all right, well, we wasted 2 hours downloading stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yep.
so I don't know, just the convenience factor of Stadia alone. And I mean, saying there's no games, that's just like that's being the dead horse almost. Just like, all right,
Exactly.
it's like it's all these other horses that are going. Why are you being that same dead horse? But
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Well, look, they had more games than Xbox did. Not as many as PlayStation, but PlayStation's been around for for decades now. So
Yeah, decades.
So
it's like if you take that into rationale, it's like, okay, Stadia's been here for 2 years and they got this many games. Holy cow!
Yep,
wow.
Exactly.
And then they got games planned until 2025, and that's the other part too, that people are still beating that Google graveyard mess, and it's just like, I don't think so. They're pretty planned out for the next couple of years here.
Absolutely. So, yep. Wholeheartedly agree.
But I'm pretty happy right now. I'm sitting pretty. Just wanted to pop in and say that.
Storm, you got any questions or anything for Squid?
Yeah, man. Squid, first of all, were you upset when I came in and helped you with the hardest puzzle in Guilt, the game, man? Were you upset?
Oh, man.
Because listen, I wanted to save you the headache, Squid. I wanted to save you the headache that me and so many others had when it came to that part of the game.
Oh, yeah, dude. I appreciate that because I would have been sitting there and then I would have, when the research mode, been like, all right, how do I figure out where is this puzzle? Oh, my gosh. That was crazy. But thank you. I appreciate that.
That's all right. Now you got to pass. Now you had to pass the baton. You had to help somebody else that's stuck there, man. That's what we had to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Nah, man. But so overall, so I dropped a line in your chat, Squid, and it came down to Outriders because some of us in the community, we did a poll earlier. I don't know if you were in the chat at the time when we did the first poll for Darksiders, and we realized that a lot of people don't care about performance as much, right? So I put in your chat yesterday about Outriders how you were always one that was progressing through the game. Seems like you had issues, but you didn't really cause a lot of fuss about it. So what's your thoughts on Ark and Outriders real quick if you could share, man?
Right. Thoughts on Ark and Outriders. So again, I take the layers back from the expectations. I always set my expectations to 0. If it runs, it's like, okay, that's a check in my book. Like already getting this to run how it is with the system and the setup how Stadia is alone. Like you have to, I think people forget that part. It's like you're getting this game streamed to you. And so just having that on your potato PC or whatever device alone is amazing, just to have that feat. And then to have I like the Arc port a little bit because it has that PC-ness to it where it's like you can go and tweak the settings, whereas most of the time you have that cookie cutter build that's already set. You can't really go and tweak those.
That's a great point. So that's a great point.
I thought that was a great thing with Arc. I mean, sure, again, it comes out bare bones builds like, yo, what's going on? But it's like, okay, once you tweak the settings, shout out to Gem, it makes that much better and playable. And so, I mean, just having to do that, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, sure, some people didn't like that, but then that's also what you would have to do if you played it on PC. You still have to go Luna. And optimize your own settings.
Or Luna or GF. So, that's a Squid. That's a great point. See, I needed Squid when me and Storm was going at it earlier before we went live. I needed Squid.
I'm going to say something after this. We're going to do bonus time. I got to go back at Squid, man. That's the homie right here. He did bring up a good point, though. But go ahead, Squid.
Yeah, and so just thinking of it in that sense, and then having the crossplay with PC alone, that's amazing as well for Arc, just having that right out day one. Because normally, crossplay with Stadia, it's not really something that you get day one with the game. So I thought that was amazing. And then I mean, I'm not one that played that game. Like, I don't have a history behind that game, so I don't know what what the hell I'm doing in it. So I spent like a good 30 minutes playing it, but I'll probably sink more time into it. But I thought it was fairly good for what it was. And then again, just the whole Stadia concept, having to play it, on my Chromebook on something that shouldn't be able to run this, all those types of things. It's just like, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then Outriders is I look at it as kind of like almost like how Square treats like most games, at least third-party games like that. Like if it's not a Final Fantasy or anything else, it's just like you get the redheaded stepchild treatment. It's fit that way, but it's like that with Avengers. They did that with the Outriders. They pushed even for the system builds. They were pushing the builds out super late and things like that. But then you look at the Stadia one. This was a fair point that I was speaking with CrowResin on. Like, we always complain about the crossplay, but then we forget, for the Outriders at least specifically, that we're on different patches. So that's where I guess it makes sense where we wouldn't have the crossplay, just because certain builds. So that's where it wouldn't mesh or jive with the other ones. And so that's why we don't have the crossplay at all for that, just because of the build. Which, okay, it's like, all right, well, I guess it is a cloud build, so I see that. But for what it is, you guys have seen, I've put plenty of time into Outriders. It's fairly good, but it's like, if you're going in there to have that latest and greatest cutting edge experience, you're not really going to get that with the Stadia port for this one. I'll say that for the Stadia port for this one. Although other games, of course, you'd go there to play it on Stadia, but for this one, yeah, it's more so like, not like a casual build, but like more so like you just go in there and get stuff done. And just, not have the best performance, but if you want the best performance, that's where you'd have to have that. It is computer or the Xbox X or even the PlayStation 5. But if you're going to compare it to those, then that's where you're going to lose, because it's, the cloud build versus a system build, which, native sometimes almost wins in that sense, just again, because Stadia's, behind by 18, 20 years or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
for what
absolutely.
it is, it's like, it gets the job done for what you want to do. If you want to play on your Chromebook, play on the TV, play on your phone, it gets it done. So, it comes back to the convenience factor. Like, you have to peel the layers back. I expect the 60 FPS, whatever, but at the same time, you have to peel the layers back and be like, okay, well, this is the convenience that I'm getting, is not having the downloads, not having to wait for the updates, not having to, just allocate your memory, all that stuff. So just, if you look at it in that sense almost all the time, then you'll be just enjoying the gameplay. Like, that's what I do.
Exactly.
That's how I enjoy much each game.
I think that it's all about putting it in a proper perspective. That's what it is, and that's why I didn't mean to base on the homie KB, but he comes in there all the time like, this is what the product should be. You're not Google. Google wants this product to be what they want it to be, and if what they want it to be is not the way that it is for you, then you got to look elsewhere. You know what I mean? But Storm, you wanted to chime in with something, right?
Nah, man, he just brought us some hellified points, man. And I touched on it a little bit about having the freedom to unlock the performance, man. We know that, again. Now, we don't want to get too deep into it because I know we got to wrap up. But like, if you think about you think about the other services like Luna and GeForce now, you could play with those settings. Hearing what Squid just said, it makes me want to consider. It just made me want to think about having settings unlocked. Now I know how that, again, we'll talk about that. Maybe me and Rev will talk about it tomorrow. Maybe me and MM will get back on it on Wednesday or something. But I really think we got to dig deeper into this tech talk, man, because Squid, that was a hell of a point.
Absolutely.
But bro, that's all I have for you today. We don't want to hold you up, man.
Yeah. Hey, yo, Squid, thank you so much, brother, for calling, man. You got to call him. And then drop a link to your platform in the chat, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Certainly.
All righty. Thank you for calling, brother.
Appreciate you.
All right. Yeah. So what I think that's going to be it for our phone calls today. Right. I just wanted to put something out there real quick, Storm, just 2 minutes. So this is from the brother Odie out there on Twitter. He says, I love PlayStation, but I can't support them not having an upgrade path. And what he's talking about is this thing where Horizon Forbidden West is charging people $80 on the PlayStation 4 if they want to get access to the PlayStation 5 version. Yes. If you want to just play Horizon Forbidden West, on PlayStation 4, you'll pay $60. But if you want to get the version that their smart delivery system that automatically upgrades to the PlayStation 5 version, if you get a PlayStation 5 in the future, you have to pay $80. So that's one thing. The second thing is that Jim Ryan several months ago said it would be the complete difference. He actually said, Storm, that they got free upgrade paths for games like Horizon Forbidden West. And this is a straight up lie. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it. When we get people to say Phil Harrison lied, they lied. Well, they didn't lie. You know what I'm saying? There may have been some misunderstanding, maybe some double speak on some things, but this is a lie. The lie that you see from Jim Ryan, the lies that we see from Phil Spencer, how do you think it compares to the misunderstandings and the things that we're dealing with Stadia?
Yo, I think Jonathan right here just summed it all up, man. It sets a bad precedent, and that's what I was immediately thinking when I heard you say $80. I was thinking, here we go again, man.
Yep.
Here we go again. And I just mentioned this on the show earlier, how they all have shortcomings. They all have things they need to work on, man. So you can't be over here trying to burn the Stadia flag down when you have issues in your own department or whatever, right? Yep. So it does not, that rubs me the wrong way. It makes me want to wait for the game on PC. I don't have a PS5. I do anticipate getting one. I don't have one yet, but I could wait, man, because I'm like, damn. Now, the price increase thing overall, I can understand that happening because prices increase after over more than a decade of these games being available. Now, just gaming in its entirety or whatever. Things are gonna happen. Gaming evolves, prices change. But $80, bro? Yeah, that's a whole lot of money, man.
Yeah, $80.
That's a whole lot of money. And then for them to come out and get caught, it seems like they got caught up in something again, where people are back questioning Jim Ryan. So what are these business practices like over there for real, man? Like, what the hell is going on, Sony? Don't do that. We kept asking Sony to not do this, man. PlayStation, don't do this, PlayStation. Please. Don't get too arrogant on your games and your exclusives and stuff like that, and then feel like you could just throw people a bone or whatever, and they're going to accept it. I don't know, man. I don't think it's good, MM2K. What about you?
No, I don't. The fact I wasn't too concerned about the price hike because, look, I'll pay for quality. My issue was that he lied. He lied and he said that there would be a pathway for free upgrades, and he lied. And Jim, I got to say, I got my ires against Phil Spencer, but this dude, he'll lie to you. Man,
bro. He kind of looks like it. I didn't want to say anything he does. You thought you could look somebody in the eyes and tell.
Be like, this dude is grinding. Yeah, this dude, man, he make Phil Spencer. He make it seem like everything was true. What was that, George Washington? I cannot tell a lie. That's what he makes Phil Spencer look like. Golly, this dude. The audacity. We're going to have a free upgrade feature, and then for this to be happening, crazy stuff.
He won't be there that long, man. If they got rid of Jack, I like Jack Tretton, man. If he moved out, Ryan ain't gonna be there that long, man.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. All right, man. Well, with that said, that's today's show. We're already 26 over the hour. We want to thank you guys and gals so much for joining in and watching us. Thank you so much. Look, we're going through a major upgrade. I want to point y'all to PNTS Network, but we don't have it up right now because we're under construction. However, what you can do is if you're interested in joining the Old Dirty Blasters clan for Division 2, please make sure that you hit me up on Twitter at MM2K. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll get you all set up and all the other stuff as far as getting you on the waiting list or seeing if we can build any extra slots. I got to talk to the 10 people that we already got in, and then we're going to see where we're going to move from there. So if you're interested, definitely go sign up on the forum, and then we'll go talk to me. I'll get you access to the forum. With that said, Storm, can you let the good people know where they can find you at, good brother?
Sure, man. You can find me right here on YouTube, Project Storm. Just look for the avatar, Project Storm Stadia. That's an easy way to find me. Project Storm Xbox, Project Storm, whatever. You know what I mean? And you'll find me. And on Twitter, you can find me at the Nephophiliac. Do you have it in the description? I'm sure it's down in the description of this video, y'all. So
Yes,
you
sir.
can definitely find me down there. Everything you need is right there. But on Twitter is where you're going to be able to hit me up directly. And I do get back to people. Also, if you follow me, I follow you back. It's that simple. If you subscribe, I subscribe back without even a second thought. So just wanted to throw it out there. Has been a great show. I had a lot of fun, man. Deep discussion, most necessary discussion, in my opinion.
Right. And you can find me here on Stadia Dosage News, Stadia Dosage Streams, Stadia Dosage Plus, and on the MM2K Videos channel. And then we got some more stuff coming, so definitely tune in to our revamp kicking off.
Yeah, one more
next
thing.
week.
One more thing.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
tomorrow, the Revolutionary Storm goes live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Rev's channel, the State of Your Revolution, right here on YouTube. So do tune in because we are going to get deep as we did last week. So you don't want to miss any of those discussions, y'all. Tune in, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can also follow Rev at SFounder2019 on Twitter.
All right. And with that said, thank you everybody for coming through. We appreciate and love all of y'all. Until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Peace, y'all.